Hello, everybody. I am Mel Barrett, and welcome to Something's Off, a true crimey podcast where we question the F out of everything true crimey. Today, we are going to be going through day 13 of the Lindsay Clancy trial. And just to remind everybody, we're doing trauma-free recaps here. We are choosing not to cover anything that has to do with the heinous things that happened to the children in this case. We're focusing solely on the insanity defense and whether the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Lindsay Clancy was sane when she committed these horrific acts. I may have a couple of very special guests on tonight, at least one. I'm sure one of them is going to show up, but there might be two of them. You're not going to want to miss that, and we're going to get into it right after a quick break. Good morning, everybody. I am Mel Barrett.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, allegedly. I'm Smile.
Happy Monday, everybody. I am Mel Barrett.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie. Happy gay summer, Mel.
Happy hump day, everybody. I am Mel Barrett.
I'm not humping anybody. I'm Rebecca Lavoie.
Happy Saturday, everybody. I am Mel Barrett.
Oh, no.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and my mic is muted.
Good morning, everybody. I am Mel Barrett.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and that's Briscoe.
And welcome to Something's Off, a true crime podcast where we swat the haters aside with our astute takes and humor and joy. And
the joylessness
I don't give
of those
a
people.
Blah.
Hags.
You hear it first in the break in the story. One little crack and the whole thing gets wary. A witness swears but the timeline bends. A smile too smooth and the trail just ends. Mel Barrett says, hold up, look again. Rebecca Lavoie follows every thread. If it feels too neat, then it's not the truth. There's a shadow line running through the room. Something's off, something's off. You can feel it in the bones. Something's off, something's off. When the facts won't come home. Something's off, something's off. And the case won't stay in place. Something's off. We're the ones who chase.
We're gonna go members only.
Yeah, we're the ones who chase. Wait, did that witness just blink 3 times? Something's off. Something's off.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. We didn't have any court today, so I was able to really get caught up. And also, like I mentioned before the break, we're probably going to have one or two special guests on with us tonight. You don't want to miss it. Right off the top, I want to say thank you to everybody that became a member in the chat. Chelsea, thanks for becoming a member. Emily, you're amazing. Thanks for becoming a member. Colleen, happy to have you. Jacqueline, thank you. Thank you so much for becoming members, guys. And then somebody asked me a question about my Lindsay. Hold on, I got to find it. Cassie thinks I should say right after this instead of a break. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. I honestly, I don't even think about it before I say it. I just go. Speaking of Cassie, though, I got the other 2 parts of your gift today. You are so generous and so kind. Thank you so much. I'm going to be cutting up. Well, first of all, I'm going to be filleting some fish, and I'm going to be doing all kinds of things with my new paring knife. So thank you. Happy Friday. Lady Harlot, Mel, how is your Lindsay feeling? Also, is she a Lindsay or a Lindsay? She's a Lindsay. You got it right. She's doing much better. She strained her quad playing tennis and could barely walk, but now she's okay. She's hobbling around a little bit, but we're icing and KT taping and doing all the things. So she's doing much better. Thank you for asking. I will let her know you asked. Shanana, made it for a live. Yay, Mel. Happy to have you. People like the intro. We like the intro over here. Definitely gets stuck in your head. Out of work hairdresser. Hey, y'all from Oklahoma. Hi. What's my favorite K-cup? My favorite K-cup is the Starbucks French roast. That's what I use at the house. And someone, is it Donna? I can't think off the top of my head, sent me a box of like 72 Starbucks French roast K-cups, and I am thankful every day for them. I'm a coffeeaholic, as you guys know. Yeah, they're so beautiful, Cassie. Thank you so much. Okay, so what we're going to be getting into today, I want to try to give you a quick rundown before my guests come on. So we had two witnesses take the stand on day 13. We started with Kyle Pavo, who's a Massachusetts State police officer with the cybercrime unit. He was responsible for basically the Celebrate stuff. So if you remember Celebrate from the Karen Reed trial, you will know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Celebrate is basically an analyzer for laptop, cell phone data. And hello, Pimabo. And this person was responsible for like basically looking at extracting and analyzing a Microsoft Surface Pro laptop that was seized from Lindsay and Patrick's house. And basically he went through a lot of testimony. He was on the stand for a very long time. He actually read out some of Lindsay's search history and the like, which I'm going to go over in just a second. And then, actually, I take it back. He wasn't on the stand for very long. Am I right about that? There were 3 witnesses. Just kidding. Timothy Chiappini, which was also Massachusetts State Police, he was responsible for going through the mobile devices. So he's a mobile device forensics guy. He did the iPhone extraction on Lindsay's cell phone. There was a lot of data from that cell phone. I'll go over some of that with you. And then the third witness we had, which he seemed a little inconsequential in my estimation, another Massachusetts State police officer who was the lead case officer on this case. I'd like to point out that he doesn't appear to have used any sort of racist, misogynist, sexist, homophobic, or anti-Semitic thoughts in his investigation of this case, which is just a surprise, which is a very nice, lovely surprise to not have to hear text messages that he sent to other police officers talking about Lindsay and in a derogatory way. That was just like a breath of fresh air. So happy to have this guy on the stand. However, this guy was one of the first people was one of the people that went into to search the home at 47 Summer Street. He is the one who identified photographs showing the second floor master bedroom window that Lindsay came out of. He detailed the Museum of Science video, which showed Lindsay, Patrick, and the kids at the Museum of Science. He also did the grand jury interview with the medical examiner. So, yeah, but he also did not find the pills that were in the drawer in the house. Awesome. Good job, guys. Seems like Massachusetts State Police is still doing their job diligently. Oh, man, these people, I tell you what. All right, let's go back to Kyle Pavo, the first guy, cybercrime unit, first of all. So let me pull this up. Hold on, hold please. Something's off. Stuck in my head again. Nope, I didn't want to do that. Did you guys have a nice break today from the trial? I was still in it because I was still going through testimony, but it was nice to not be like, oh God, and this happened. Now I have to talk about this horrible thing. That was kind of nice. All right, let's go back to day 13. Oh, also Murdoch. Pretrial motions happened today. I'm not covering that case. I was definitely interested in it. So let me who this. Okay. I don't know who Laura is. What are you doing over there, Laura? Okay. Let's get this up. And again, I'm just going to bring up their faces and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened and maybe show you a little bit of the cross. He came up at 46 minutes. This court is always late, like by a half an hour, 45 minutes. Okay, so this is the guy. This is the first guy. This is Kyle Pavo. He analyzed the Surface Pro, the laptop, and he detailed sequences starting at 9:40 a.m. with a visit to a Facebook account, which looks like it was Lindsay's Facebook. This is the testimony that we've already actually heard. I don't know why this guy's on here again. We already heard this testimony that somebody was on the Surface Pro laptop and they looked up a singer, Tom T. Hall, and the song That's How I Got to Memphis. Tom T. Hall had just recently unalived himself, and whoever was on this website clicked on the Wikipedia for Tom T. Hall, and when it said how, like, his method of being unalive, it said suicide. And so the person who was on the laptop clicked on that link that took them to a page that were methods of unaliving oneself. So, of course, the prosecution is really trying to push this theory that was Lindsay. That doesn't help their case, though. It doesn't help their case. Like, I don't know why they keep doing this. It's not helping their case at all. To be like, she's looking up methods of unaliving oneself. Yeah, because she was thinking about it. Anyway, Kevin Reddington gets up and he makes sure we all understand. So I'm going to play a little bit of this for you. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. All right, here we go.
I was assigned to the cybercrime unit.
And the cybercrime unit works with the DA's office in Plymouth?
The cybercrime unit is its own independent statewide unit.
So in the sense that you're independent, it's still the district attorney and his assistant DAs that would reach out to the cybercrime unit and ask for help, right?
Or it could be the troopers assigned to the state police detective unit.
Joshua McEllen. He was the lead investigator on this case, right?
I assume so.
Okay. So you were tasked to analyze the computer, the Surface Pro computer, right?
Yes, correct.
And by all accounts, that was owned by Pat Clancy. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And it was located in his office, right?
I don't know where it was located.
Okay. It's fair to say that when you analyzed the computer back in October of 2025, it was an investigatory role that you were using to locate potential evidence, right?
Correct.
And what is it you were looking for?
I was provided a search warrant with search terms, and that's as far as I knew of the case.
And what were the search terms?
I don't recall specifically, but they were spelled out in the search warrant.
So when you have search terms, you take a person's computer, and then what do? You access it through a device?
So I was provided the images. I never saw the physical computer.
So when you got the images, you were able to load them up onto your computer, I imagine?
Yes, we'll use a tool to help parse through that data. Correct.
And then as a result of that, you were able to plug in words that you could search for, right?
Yes.
For example, like suicide?
Suicide would be one.
Drugs?
I mean, I don't think that pertained in this case, but
you could search. Did.
I don't recall the specific terms in the search warrant.
Okay. So after you did your search for whatever it is that you were looking for, suicide and other, you're unable to tell us what else you look for, but in any event, you came across this entry on August 23rd, and you indicated that the time frame that you're dealing with on that computer, the Surface Pro computer, was 9:40 in the morning. Is that right?
Can you rephrase that?
Yeah. You can look at your report too. I mean, if you have documents in front of you, do you have?
I do.
All right, so you can take a look at it. You have a document that's captioned matching results. Is that right?
I do not have that in front of me, but yes.
And would that be the search that you conducted?
Is that the magnet tool report?
I don't know what it is. And I
I don't know what it is. What are you talking about? I don't know.
This is the main page of the forensic tool.
And looking at the main page of the forensic tool,
look at him. You guys. Did you see what he's holding in his hand? Watch this. Look. Do you see what that is? It's a magnifying glass. I love him so much. I can't even begin to express how much I love Kevin Reddington. I really hope he comes on the show. Just want to answer a couple questions. I thought the pills were in the car's center console. Someone in the chat said they were, but they were all over the place, and they were in a drawer in the bedroom as well. And they didn't. Massachusetts State Police guess missed that one. So thanks for the 440 joules, Uncle Ert. Anna Johnson, appreciate ya. Goblin Misfit said, at least they photographed the crime scene the same week as the incident. Yeah. Or they actually photographed the crime scene. They didn't ever photograph 34 Fairview. So that's impressive, guys. Good job. Golf clap for the MSP. Golf clap. I'm going to give you, Pamabo, there is a list of the search terms. There's a list. I don't know what the list of the search terms was on the search warrant itself, but I'm going to tell you later on a list of things that Lindsay Googled, and it doesn't help the prosecution again, so I don't know what they're doing. Hey, Kendra, glad you're here. D. Cools, I think, mentioned something. Not to start the day with jokes, but a policeman searching a suspect's computer for the word drugs is such a funny visual. Yeah, who goes to Google and types in drugs? Oh my God. I love a magnifying glass. It reminds me of my grandfather. Oh, I love it. I think D-Cools, you had mentioned something about they wouldn't be able to look in that drawer if they didn't have a search warrant. They did have a search warrant at this point. Oh, got it. Got a piece of hair stuck in my glasses. So they were able to search. They should have been searching, and they didn't find the pill bottles. So, okay. Anyway, let's jump ahead a little bit here. Highlight the pill box. Okay. So this has already been established. I'm not sure why they're going over it again, but the prosecution really wants to try to make it hit home that Lindsay signed in to her Facebook account and was searching up Tom T. Hall and also unaliving methods. But it's very clear that her Facebook page was just open on the computer, and it was more than likely Patrick searching out these terms because he's the musician, and he testified that it might have been him, doesn't really remember, but that he remembers the artist and he remembers what happened to him. And Kevin Reddington is going to sort of kick this theory to the side here by explaining that Lindsay had in her calendar at the time that she was actually at a doctor's appointment with one of the kids. So Lindsay's at the doctor's, Patrick is home, playing on the web. And then the prosecution tries to come back and say it's so ludicrous at this point. Every single point they make is rebutted wholeheartedly by the defense, and it shows how disingenuous the prosecution is being at every turn. Yeah, Mary, I saw something about this too. I don't totally understand what it is, but Mary says, I hear she was in an FB group for MTHFR gene mutation. I don't know what that means, but she was all over the internet trying to figure out what was going on with her and how to best take care of her kids. Genuinely tonic, I think is what your name is. My favorite Reddington move is when he plays dumb, talking about ads on the internet when cross with tops. Yeah, he's so good at it. Especially he does it right when he's about to like drop the hammer on somebody, and I just love it. Okay. Hope the jury sees the Commonwealth BS. Truth for one. I hope they do too. I mean, it's kind of hard not to. They're really bad at this. For two women who have been practicing in the DA's office one of them has been practicing for 15 years and the other one's been practicing for over 20 in the DA's office. These guys are kind of dummies. And I'm saying that I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not trying to be like, I'm not saying anything about women, obviously. They're just kind of dumb. So yeah. Anyway. All right. So Kevin Reddington is going to walk us all through this. All right. Hold on a sec. Oh, it looks like we might have a guest joining us. Hi, Maggie.
Hi. Hello.
Wait, you're not up yet. Hold on a sec. Hi, Maggie.
Hello.
How are you?
Wait. Okay, I was trying to send my friends the live link because I accidentally sent them the StreamYard.
Oh, that's why someone named Laura.
Yes. Okay, wait.
All right, sorry, Laura. I'm kicking you out of the studio. Sorry, Laura. I was like, who's Laura? You're funny. I think Ellyn Marie Marsh is going to be joining us as well. She's trying to finish up before she does her recording of the rundown. But poor Ellyn is having to do like their rundown episodes are like a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And she has to like recap the whole week in Lindsay Clancy and put it into like a half an hour, 45. And I'm like, you can't. Like this one, especially this week, you absolutely can't. So,
oh my
anyway.
God. This case is crazy. I'm the person here that really doesn't know anything, and I hit up Mel being like, "Is this real? Is this real? He had to have been part of this. At minimum, he wanted her to die." So that's me, guys.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted her to die. I think that he was just a dumb waspy husband who really wanted to keep up appearances and didn't think that mental health was necessarily a real thing. And you know. There was one big red flag. I talked about this the other day, but when they had one of the therapists on, it was so Lindsay went to a psychiatrist first, and then she was referred by her mother-in-law, so Patrick's mom, to this place called South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. So it was like a behavioral health place that was for women who are in postpartum. And when she got there, she had a therapist, like a talk therapist. She had 2 different nurse practitioners who were helping her. There were a lot of people helping her, a lot of people prescribing for her. On one of the last visits with the therapist, Patrick came in with Lindsay. It wasn't the therapist. It was the nurse practitioner. Oh, there's Ellyn. Hold on a sec. I'll tell the story and then I'll bring it on. And when
am I derailing you guys if I start asking questions?
No, not at all. Not at all. We're here just to talk about what happened on day 13, but I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this case too. And I know that Ellyn wants a place to talk about it too, and she needs a little bit more space. So I'm happy to have you both on. But yeah, so this last session with the registered nurse at this behavioral health place, Patrick came in with Lindsay, and that's when the nurses finally said, "Listen, I think she's having symptoms of bipolar." And his response was, "My wife isn't bipolar." And then when the nurse looked at Lindsay, she didn't say a word. So what does that tell you? That tells me that the pressure on her was that her husband doesn't want her to have any kind of mental health issues. He wants her to be normal. So I'm not saying Patrick is perfect, but I just don't believe that he did this. All right, I'm going to bring Ellyn in.
Yes, I miss my Ellyn.
Hi, Elle.
Hi, Queens. Wait, I think my hold on, my audio's.
I'm being really not professional right now. I'm on my couch with headphones.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine.
Okay,
we're a little lo-fi here anyway. Hi, Ellyn.
Hi,
Maggie.
Maggie. Oh my God, you on that podcast? What?
Me on that podcast, blowing up my life, just being high
up.
Wait, look, I got sent this shirt by the guy who made it. Taylor Swift is a CIA psyop.
All right, hold on. Maggie, you gotta tell the audience what we're talking about, because I know about it because I was on your show, but my audience doesn't know what you're talking about.
Okay, audience. So I accidentally blew up my life going on a very popular, like, kind of Gen Z show, maybe. He got really famous doing No Gas, No Breaks. He's pretty awesome, but yeah, the most viewed and commented posts they've ever had about Taylor Swift. Go fucking figure. I said off the cuff, in the desert, on my birthday, high as shit, in a trailer, Taylor Swift's a fucking psyop. And there it goes. There it goes. 30,000 followers, 15 million views in a week. It's, you guys are like boost your careers. Talking about Taylor Swift.
I mean, it was so funny because a very politically connected person of mine was like, "Do you know Maggie Freleng?" I was like, "Bitch, yes." And he follows Greg.
Oh, that's so funny.
And didn't put you and Greg together. It was a whole funny. It was like worlds colliding.
Greg and I were just talking about having you guys on the pod because we're doing a couples kind of thing, and so it would be great to have you guys on. Mel was on. It was wonderful.
Mel and I broke up. Just so you know, so we're not a couple anymore.
I was thinking that too. I was like, I should have Mel and Rebecca as a couple.
I could bring my boyfriend on if you want, but Mel and I broke up, but we're still cool.
Ellyn and I, we don't scissor anymore. So.
Wait, but speaking of breaking up, where's Rebecca? Why isn't she here?
She is marrying off her son this weekend. She's about to be a mom.
Getting married on Saturday.
That's right.
Little Henry.
Henry.
He's just a Bobby.
Yeah, he's a precious, precious boy.
Boy.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So Maggie, let me, for the audience who doesn't know what we're talking about or who you guys are, I'm sure everybody knows who you are, but just to be clear, Maggie, tell everybody about who you are and the new show that you have out on YouTube.
Why am I not collabed?
Hold on, Greg. I'm in the middle of a live, please.
Hi, Greg.
Everyone
That's
says
her boyfriend,
hi.
Greg. Or husband. Are you guys
It's
married?
it's Ellyn and Mel.
Oh, hey.
Tell him to
He
stop
says
breathing.
they. Stop breathing, Mel says. Yeah, he was breathing so loud in the mic.
He was like,
I would have left. I would have had to have. I would have had to.
It was a problem. Okay, so I am a Pulitzer-winning journalist. I work in the criminal legal reform field, wrongful convictions, prison stuff. And I have a new podcast with my partner, Greg Stoker, who's an anti-war activist and veteran, called Hope This Finds You Well. And we hope it finds our guests well in this devastatingly apocalyptic time we're living. So we kind of talk about feelings and things that Greg does not like talking about. So yeah.
Maggie is so smart, and I
Yes.
hope you're not offended by this. Greg, I mean, like, I don't know what flavor of autism he is,
Yes.
but like, literally, me and my boyfriend just sat with Maggie and Greg, and we're like, "Can you tell us about the Middle East?"
I
He's
kept
super
saying to him,
smart.
I was like, "Didn't we go on a podcast with them?" He's like, "No, we were just on a phone call,
were
so we got to
just
do the
on a
whole thing on a show."
We were literally just on a FaceTime.
Yes, we were cooking and drunk, and we had a great FaceTime. So let's make that real for the audience.
I love
Well-
it. Ellyn, tell everybody who you are.
Oh, my
No.
name is Ellyn Marsh. I have a true crime podcast. It's a comedy podcast called I Think Not, where we recap true crime documentaries and TV shows. And every Monday we do a rundown, very similar to Mel and Rebecca, where we just like talk about what's in the headlines. You know, we get like our little meat hooks into things. Right now it is Lindsay Clancy for me and Nolan Wells for Joey. And I also have a podcast that I do in my downtime to give my brain a break from true crime. It's called Shut the Fuck Up, Nick Lachey, and it's a Love is
Best.
Blind recap podcast. That's my therapy.
Ellyn, do you know Jolene Lunzer?
No, but I love her song. Who's that?
She does a recap of Big Brother. She does very, very similar to what you guys do with Shut the Fuck Up, but she has a YouTube channel and she does it solo. And I don't know how she does it, but she does it for like 4 or 5 hours and she keeps the ball rolling. Like everything's in the air. She does it herself. She is friggin' hilarious.
I love that.
So she normally does Big Brother, but then when she started seeing all the drama that was going on within the Karen Reed community, she started covering the Karen Reed community like Big Brother. And
Wow.
it's fucking
Wait,
hilarious.
who is that, Mel? Do I know who that is?
Jolene Lunzer.
Oh, I hear
She's
you
a
talk about
comedian. She's so funny. She we got a little bit of heat from one of the I don't know if you guys know who Jess Machado is, but we got some heat from Jess Machado, and she's currently like covering all the drama with Jess Machado. So when Jess was dragging us, she had, she talked about us on the show, and then our friend Jimmy, aka Auntie Deb, and of course she calls it like the Turtle verse, meaning like Turtle Boy, and there's so much shit going on still, you guys, drama wise. It's insane.
It is. I literally, you guys know I'm your number one fan. I listen to your podcast every time it's out because I'm just like, I'm in the room with Mel and Rebecca just talking about Karen Reed. It's all I want to do every day.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun, but you guys got to go check out Jolene. Go over and watch anything she does. She's so whip smart, and Ellyn, I think you'll really appreciate her.
I would love that.
her
Yeah.
comedy. It's so good. All right, so but what we're here to talk about is Lindsay Clancy. So just to give you guys a heads up, if you've been listening to the show, you know Maggie and Ellyn that I have been trying to cover this case. I'm staying away from anything that has to do with the horrific things that happened to the children in this case. I'm focusing solely on what this case should be about, which is the sanity or insanity defense. Whether Lindsay Clancy was sane at the moment that this horrific thing happened. She's already admitted to it. So we don't actually need to see any witnesses, any forensic witnesses.
Thank you, Ellyn. Thank you, Ellyn. Thank you, Ellyn.
So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you guys on, because you guys disagree with me a little bit here. So when you're saying, I don't know if she's actually admitted to it, what do you mean?
You want to go, Maggie?
No, you go. I really don't know anything about the case. I just don't think this is cut and dry.
So
it's not. I don't think it's cut and dry either. I'm just saying, like,
I want to make it clear. Joey and we're doing a full deep dive on it today. I've actually been working since 6 a.m. I think Mel and I were on FaceTime at like 8 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, pretty early.
So it has nothing to do with the Patrick Clancy did it at all, because right now Lindsay Clancy is on trial, and that's all we're talking about right now. So Kevin Reddington is not looking for an alternative suspect. He's not doing that, and neither am I. All I'm saying is I went back and I listened to Reddington's opening statement because I am now in love with him. I think he is so old school. And Mel and I were comparing him to, Alan Jackson, and how they're both so different and their styles are different. So I've just been obsessed with them. So I was like, I need to go back and listen to his opening statement. So I went back and I listened, and I think that, sometimes we listen to podcasts all the time. I think I partially heard this, and I went back to this statement that said, and I'm paraphrasing a little, but the essence was the prosecution is going to tell you that Lindsay knows she killed her children. So then I called Mel this morning and I was like, I understand the concession for the 2 trials, which was not, it was, the judge passed on that and everything. Mm-hmm. So I asked Mel, who said she did it? They're conceding. I mean, it's not like an Alford plea where they're like, we know that you have enough evidence, because what he said was the prosecution will tell you. And then something else I didn't realize, which I have to correct, is there are 3 options that will be on the docket. And that is guilty, you're going to prison, guilty with no criminal responsibility, the insanity plea, you go to a mental health facility, or not guilty.
Right.
By reason of insanity?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Is an option, and I think in my mayhem, I missed that.
That's what, Mel, you were trying to say to me, right? Because I was like, I was in my head, I was like, this is so fucking sad. No matter what, she's in a mental health institution for the rest of her life, or prison for the rest of her life. And Mel's like, no, it's not it.
And I really for her whole life. But go on, Mel. Sorry.
I fully believe that it's going to be a hung jury or not guilty. I think the jury might even go all the way to not guilty because of the way the prosecution is selling this case. Wow. I have never seen a prosecution make the defense's case for them
every time.
It's 13 days we're into this, and there hasn't been one witness that was good for the prosecution. Not one witness that I can think of that was good for the prosecution. Even if part of their testimony was good for the prosecution, the overwhelming majority of their testimony was good for the defense. And that's before Kevin Reddington even gets up to do a cross-examination. And
which I cannot wait for. We need to have like a watch party for his cross.
Oh my God.
You mean for his case, when he puts on his case?
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing. But, like even yesterday, we were just going over a little bit before you guys came in. The testimony yesterday was from the Celebrite experts and the cyber teams and all this stuff. And they go through Lindsay's journals. They go through all of her Google searches. They go through Facebook posts, everything, right? None of it is good for the prosecution. No. And the prosecution didn't even help themselves, because then they got up, and I think it was on redirect at one point, and Bo Peep is like, so tell me the exact page and exactly what you were doing here with this search and why this is important. She's now directing the jury to the important pieces of the searches that don't help her in any way. Like I woke up this morning and I said to my Lindsay, I think the prosecution's throwing this case. Like, are they throwing this case?
Doing? Do you think they are?
I don't know. I'm like, because they're so heartless and so callous. Like the other day, I don't know if you saw this, Maggie.
Oh God.
But so just to be clear, the defense has stipulated 2. They agree with all the forensic findings. They agree with all the medical experts that about the manner in which the children were killed. They do agree that Lindsay is the one who did that, because she admitted to it in the hospital. She admitted to it.
That's not part of the stipulation, though.
I know it's not. I know. No, I'm adding it to that. I'm making a list. So they've stipulated to all the forensic stuff. Outside of that, they've already admitted to the fact that Lindsay did this. So when it comes down to it, they're putting on all these experts. We've had 13 days of experts. I think 70 or 80 experts or some crazy shit like that.
Are we counting Tufts as an expert or no?
Witnesses. I'll say witnesses because they're all witnesses, but other than the family members and the friends, they're expert witnesses because they either.
I mean, Tufts is an expert at not wearing mascara or having any color in her face. She looks.
Did you see the picture? Did you see the pictures of her that I posted from when she was younger?
No, was she pretty?
Oh my god! Can you bring them up?
This
like
is
girl. A lash and a lip will go very far.
No, I think it's because she's so sick, Ellyn. I think it's because she's like, I royally fucked this up.
Yeah, no, she's.
Well, they're all a part of the lawsuit. Patrick and Lindsay.
I know.
All of them.
I did watch clips of Tufts, and I was like, this woman knows she did some medical malpractice.
Okay, so let me pull this up here. Hold on.
I don't know. Whatever Big Bo McGillicuddy is doing, I want in her brain because. Because where's this menacing, maniacal woman who didn't want to be a mother?
There's no evidence of that. Her searches are like best organic baby food. Like,
her searches are I even think that they call them the good mom searches. Okay, so this is Tufts today, right? And then this is Jennifer Tufts on the website where Lindsay went to find her first. All right, hold on, I gotta pull it up. Takes me a minute.
Can I ask some questions? Because I do see things on the internet floating around, and Mel, you were like, a lot of these things aren't true.
I know,
obviously,
it's so noisy.
What are some of the big things that are definitely not true that you see going around? Like, was her neck broken? Oh God, yeah,
that's her. That's her from when Lindsay came to see her. So like 3 years ago. She's only been practicing for 4 years.
She fucked up. Oh
yeah,
my God,
she's sick. She's sick with what's happened and what she's done, and. Lindsay was the first postpartum patient she had on her own. She'd only been practicing on her own for 1 month when Lindsay came to see her. 1 month. So I just think that this is all getting to a lot of these people. But what I'm saying is Tufts is an expert in her field, but it's an expert who did the wrong thing with this client.
She didn't even know what the Edinburgh test was.
She did know what it was, but she said that it's not something that they do. Now they did it.
She didn't know how many questions it was. No, he said how many questions. She didn't know any of the questions.
But it's not something she uses. That's fine. She's allowed to not use it. The behavioral health clinic does all those tests, and they do it with all their patients.
Right.
But even that place, like, let's go a step further, because Jennifer Tufts is one thing. She was an inexperienced psychiatrist who didn't have a lot of time under her belt. It's the people that were at the South Shore Behavioral or the Prenatal Behavioral Health Center who royally fucked up because they should have known better. And one of them, Gelada, was the one who was like, I think you're having symptoms of bipolar. And yet they were still prescribing her with medications that don't work well with bipolar.
Yep.
And then because she wanted to have a good therapist relationship or doctor-client relationship, when Patrick is like, my wife isn't bipolar, she was like, oh, okay. And she was like, so that I didn't break the bond with Lindsay, I didn't argue with them, basically.
And that is the man thing. The man thing. We're just listening to the man. We're just listening to the man. Yes. What is going on with that? That's my big thing. Why wasn't he questioned? Is that true?
It's very much he took the stand for the prosecution.
No, I mean, during the investigation, people are like, he wasn't like a they just.
Okay, well, let me say this. I think that the reason why he wasn't a suspect is because he called 911. The 911 tape was played in court. We didn't hear the whole thing, but it was already out on the internet well before this. So it's weird that the judge, I mean, I know he doesn't want to re-traumatize people. That's why he put the media ban on, but a lot of people have already heard it. Patrick, you can hear Patrick on the 911 trying to keep Lindsay awake because she had taken a cocktail of drugs, as well as trying to slice her.
That's right.
Throat.
Why were her wrists slit? Was that true? These are things.
Yes.
Her wrists were slit.
The drugs
wrong.
that she crushed up.
Crushed up drugs. What is that? Why would this doesn't make sense?
She tried 3 different methods of unaliving herself, and when she jumped out the window, the prosecution is literally trying to say that she was trying to fake suicide. Like,
Yeah.
she set this whole thing up. They're saying that she tried to Spider-Man crawl down the wall on the
And
outside of
pretend
the
like-
house, and she accidentally fell, and that's how she's paralyzed. But here's the thing: on the 911 call, Patrick comes in. You can hear him trying to keep Lindsay awake, and then he's like, "Where are the kids? Where are the kids?" And she says they're in the basement. And so Patrick finds the kids.
You hear it on the 911. You heard the
Okay.
911 call?
I've heard parts of the 911 call
And
because
you
the
heard
news.
her say they're in the basement?
No, that's the transcript from the trial.
Right. You see, but so who heard her say that with her broken thyroid?
Right.
It's
That's what I
it's
wanna know.
on the tape. They played it in the trial.
You can hear her.
I can't hear it because there's a media ban. But yes, you can hear her on the tape. It's in the transcripts.
Transcripts of the trial, she's saying.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, don't go into these conspiracy. Don't go into
Don't
this conspiracy.
tell me
land.
not to go into conspiracy theories. I'm not. I'm asking questions.
It's good questions, and
That
we
is
know
a
people get
perfectly
wrongfully
legitimate
convicted.
question.
I'm just saying I don't want to feed into that Patrick, because
I'm not on that train.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
on that train, but it is a legitimate question.
That's
Yeah,
the thing.
you're
That
right.
I'm wondering how this woman who is taking pills and out of her mind, how is she able to admit what she's like? I'm curious how, obviously, false confessions happen. So I'm just
Mhm.
curious of this. Who was questioned? Why are we believing even her story? She was out of her mind.
She was out of her mind. I mean, she had what I'm understanding is that they haven't totally proven it yet, but that she had a moment. She had psychosis in that moment. And from what I understand, she's saying, "I'm sorry," those kind of things. When she wakes up in the hospital, she talks to a religious person. I'm assuming it was a priest. And she tells the priest, "I heard voices, and the voices told me to kill the kids. And I did it." And then she tells Dr. Zizel, who then comes in to visit her. So I don't know why. I guess my question is this: if a woman is putting herself through this trial and is going through all the things that she's going through. I mean, you guys heard her sobbing the other day in court.
Hyperventilating.
They brought, so Maggie, you probably didn't see this, but they brought in 2 medical examiners. They've already gone through all the children's injuries, and the doctors went through all of that. Now they bring in 2 medical examiners, and these medical examiners are sitting on the stand and in graphic, horrific detail with pictures of the babies on the stand with them on the screen in front of the jury. They are detailing what it felt like to hold the baby's brain and how soft it was. And then talking about, I don't want to get into it. They were talking about the eyeballs and all this stuff. Lindsay was sitting in that courtroom, hyperventilating. She was crying so hard. And they had to stop court twice because she was crying so hard. They had to give her a break. She had to come back in. These prosecutors didn't bat an eye. Yeah. They were just like, she's sobbing. And they're like, so anyway, tell us about what you did with the eyeball once you cut it, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, why? You guys have already established this and they've stipulated to it. You're just doing this because you think at the end of the day, their entire case is based on the fact that they think they can get an emotional reaction out of the jury.
It's going to backfire big time.
And they don't have a case. They're still figuring out what their case is. The judge even called them out and was like, wait a minute, you guys keep saying that she faked her suicide. And they're like, no. And one of the prosecutors goes, no, we're just saying that she used the wrong tools and it didn't do the job that she wanted it to do. And he's like, what does that matter? At the end of the day, my point is that this woman was in a shit ton of pain based on everything in the months leading up to and from her previous history when she was on Prozac and Wellbutrin and had anxiety and depression from her other kids. And she had just stopped breastfeeding. Her hormones are all out of whack. And then once she stops breastfeeding, they put her on a cocktail of 13 different drugs. And and she's writing in her journal about
these
suicidal
emails
ideation
between the providers.
Yeah.
She's emailing her providers 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I woke up at 12 with horribly intrusive thoughts of wanting it to be all over. She said that to Dr.
And so I'm
Dumata.
imagining what you said based on Patrick. Like, he is no, you're not sick, I'm not here, like doesn't want to hear it. Like, what was he doing during all of this?
He was working. So the other stress they had going on was that they went and they bought this like beautiful house in Duxbury that was too big for them and too expensive. And she was a nurse. So Lindsay was a labor and delivery nurse, and Patrick is in the tech world. And when she was on maternity leave, I think Patrick was on maternity leave for a little bit too, but they were trying to figure out if she could even go back to work because she was freaking out about leaving the youngest baby. And so he was the only one working. They were having financial stress. So he was going to work every day. His work was in the basement though, but he was traveling back.
How do we know they were having financial stress? Also, I want to tell you, just so that we're not misquoting anything, her voice is not in the transcript of the 911 call. I just read it. It is not listed as her voice. He says the basement. I am not conspirathizing.
That's not conspirathizing. That is fact.
Here about the stuff that we're saying, because I've already made a mistake. I have to correct it today on the rundown.
What'd you say? What's your mistake?
I've said all we're doing is deciding on the building that she's going to. Is she going to prison or is she going to a mental institution?
Right, that's what I thought.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have to fix that. So we have to like, and that's the thing about the noise. Like Joey and I keep talking. It's such a cyclone of stuff. Like I have downloaded. I went through every testimony. I've been up since 6. I went through every testimony from this week, listening and reading the transcript along, because like, you know, it's confusing, especially with the multiple providers when she was with Tufts and with Julie Paul, and then Tufts and with Gelada. It's just it's a
okay. I want to play something for you guys, and I don't. I'm not a huge fan of this person, but she is in the courtroom, and she is detailing what's happening.
Why don't we like her? Tell me.
She's one of those like. She thinks she's a real journalist, and she thinks everybody else that is like an independent journalist isn't a real journalist. It's Sue O'Connell. She's a local reporter.
Oh, yeah.
She's been around forever. But anyway.
Yeah, she's slightly condescending, but yeah.
She's really condescending. Yeah. So I want to play this for you guys. Hold on a second. All right, let's listen to this. Oh.
This is Sia, my baby.
Where'd it go?
Gorgeous.
Hi, baby.
Is she new?
No, she's 7, and her brother just died out of.
She looks like my 7-year-old. Oh, Ellyn, I'm sorry. Her brother.
Oh my God, it was the worst.
I know, how sad. I'm so sad.
Are you my baby?
Play this. Hold on a second. All right. Here we go. Let's listen to what Sue has to say. I don't know. Why is this not working? Hold on a second. Hold on. It doesn't like TikTok sometimes, just so you guys know. If you ever use StreamYard, it does not like TikTok.
Oh, good to know. I deleted my TikTok
Kelly,
because
I don't
everyone
know.
said we were supposed to.
Yeah, well, because it's owned by China now.
Yeah, I did the right thing, and then
you know who owns
everyone's
Celebrate?
still on TikTok.
Maggie, do you know who owns Celebrate?
No, who? I don't even want to know. Taylor Swift?
No.
Okay, I'm going to play this.
You know who.
Elon Musk.
So what I'm hearing some people say about Patrick Clancy is not supported by the 911 call. You may have heard that he sounded too calm, or that Lindsay Clancy was speaking in complete sentences.
So you can hear Lindsay. She's in the courtroom.
Staged. Well, let me tell you, I heard the 911 call. I was in the courtroom when it played, with journalists from mainstream media, independent media, citizen journalists, members of the public, court staff, and the 18 jurors. We sat in the same room and listened to it together. And I completely understand why the fact that you can't hear it creates a vacuum. The judge has impounded the 911 recording. The media, we can report what we heard, but we cannot play it for you. And when you don't have the evidence yourself, suspicion can sometimes fill the gap. But some people have filled this particular gap with a story built on things that aren't actually on the call. So let me tell you what I heard. But first, I want to give you a little context. In the 1980s, a lot of my friends were dying from HIV, AIDS-related illnesses, and most of them were under 30.
Don't bring the gays into this.
I went with a group of people to tell a mother that her
I could
son
tell by her
had died.
haircut.
I waited outside the apartment while his family went in. He'd been terminally ill for a while. She knew it was coming, and still, the sound she made when she heard that her son was dead is a sound I have carried with me for 40 years.
Okay, Sue.
Now, I've also sat in beautiful theaters and watched extraordinary actors perform grief. Some of the
Like
best
Ellen Marie
actors
Marsh.
in the world, gifted, coached with
You're circling
incredible
the airport,
scripts.
Sue. Bring
And
it in
what
for
I
a
heard from
landing.
Patrick Clancy when he found
She
his
thinks she's
children
Rachel
did
Maddow.
not sound like a performance to me.
I didn't
The
say that.
screaming, the howling, the crying. It immediately took me back to that doorstep in the 1980s. And I'm never going to forget that 911 call. Now, you can check me. The published accounts from other reporters in the room described the call the same way: anguished, frantic, harrowing. Now, about what Lindsay said. People online are saying things like she was coherent and clear and she had a conversation. That's not at all what I heard. She was moaning. Her speech was difficult to make out. The one word I could hear clearly was basement.
Okay.
That's very different from the online claim that I keep seeing, that she was calmly speaking in complete sentences. Back to Patrick. At the beginning of the call, it's chaotic. He's panicked. He talks over the dispatcher. He's trying to find out where his kids are. He's trying to deal with Lindsay. And then his voice changes. He becomes functional. He listens. He follows directions from the dispatcher. That does not mean he became calm. And then he goes into the house. You can hear the moment his world changes. He screams and howls for minutes and eventually gets out the words, "She killed the kids." The recording is impounded right now, and maybe someday a court will allow.
Okay. That's all I wanted to play. The only reason I'm saying that is because I have read several reports, and I can't pull them up right now because I don't have them in front of me, that Lindsay's voice is on the 911 and that it was played in court. And so people did hear it. She may not have been completely coherent. She had a 3-centimeter gash in her throat and a couple centimeter gashes in her wrist. She had just fallen. She had taken a cocktail of the prescriptions that she'd been given, and she had just fallen out of the window and she was paralyzed from the waist down and, you know, her thyroid and all that. But I think the point of the matter is, the same way that I believe that Lindsay wasn't faking it in the courtroom when she was having to look at the autopsy photos and listen to what the doctors were saying about her children, I believe what they're saying about Patrick on that 911 call. And what scares me is questioning. It would be one thing if Lindsay and Patrick were not on the same side of this case, but they are, and they've made that abundantly clear. He's made that abundantly clear that he's on her side. Very much like Darlie Routier's husband has been on her side for 30 years.
Right.
They're not married anymore. But these two men know that their wives didn't do the thing. They know that they did the thing in Lindsay's case. Patrick knows. And in Darlie's case, he knows that his wife did not kill their children. And so I'm hesitant to start to question Patrick and his motivations. And I said this to you earlier, Maggie.
I didn't do that. I just said that.
I'm not saying you did.
Yeah.
I'm saying this for my audience because people come in here and they're like, Patrick did it. He said this. And I'm like, get out of here. But what I said earlier to Maggie was, yeah, maybe he was having an affair in New York with the woman he's now married to and living in New York. I don't really care. The issue is that woman was almost felt like, to me, a single parent at home with 3 kids under the age of 6. And all she wanted to do was be a good mother. And she was having symptoms of bipolar and no one was taking her seriously. And she was probably having symptoms of extreme postpartum anxiety that then dipped over into psychosis, and no one was taking her seriously, and she was over medicated, and she didn't have a strong enough partner in that moment because Patrick was too worried about what everybody thought of them. And that's my take.
Here's a question I have. If we can have states where marital rape is still legal, can we have states where we hold the partner that's not giving their partner mental health help account? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why is this man who is ignoring his wife's pleas for help not in any sort of way accountable? If we have parents who leave guns unlocked and their kids get them, I mean, what are we doing here?
It's like Ethan Crowley.
With Patrick, I do think that here's the sad part to me about what you just said, Maggie.
I think I know what you're about to say.
The baseline for men to not be mediocre is for them to show up at the therapist's office and to make calls on behalf of their wife and yell at the doctors for overprescribing her. But the converse of that is that we live in a society where men, and I'm not saying all men, obviously, but men experience mental health differently, and they have different opinions about mental health. And for some men, I think it's still an old school mentality of just like, rub some dirt on it, get over it, honey. You know, you're going to be a little depressed after you have the kids. Last time you got over it, let's go for a 10K. Let's go to the gym, like, get over it, because men were taught to get over it. And so they want their wives to do the same thing. But then there's this newer group of men, this like sort of millennials and under, that are like, oh, but I'm being a good supportive husband. I yelled at the doctors for her and I went to a therapy session with her. And you guys still fucked it up. So unfortunately, the lowest form of being a supportive spouse is taken as like, he's such an amazing, good guy. Patrick is a saint. And though I
actually feel comfortable saying that he's not. I actually, when everyone is saying he did it, whatever, I am willing to actually say publicly that I don't think he was a very good partner. At the very least, even if he wasn't having an affair, leaving his wife in the mental state that she was in for days on end, that sucks. You know, her having to always do telehealth because she couldn't have a babysitter when he was in the basement. Now, listen, I work from home, and Lola knows when I'm on working hours, I am on working hours. But if she has a doctor's, you know, like we all work from home, you know, so I actually am fine saying I don't think he was a very good partner.
No, you know what's interesting
is a horrible person.
No, it's interesting too, because when, you know, we're talking about, well, let's question some of this evidence and whatever, it makes me think of Scott Peterson. He was a shitty husband who all three of us believe got railroaded. So it's like Patrick was a shitty husband and didn't get railroaded. So it's just a very interesting way to think about this case as well. He reminds me of Scott Peterson, a shitty fucking husband.
Yeah, and I think he's actually like a more modern day Scott Peterson, because he has evolved a little bit from Scott Peterson, but he's still a mediocre white dude.
The man has evolved a little bit since the 90s.
You know, he went to a therapy appointment and he yelled at a doctor. Come on, Maggie.
Yeah. That's what it takes 20 years later. Exactly.
I agree with Kylie. Will you put Kylie's comment up? The part where she was masking and being given the benefit of the doubt when she shouldn't have been. That's what Tufts did. Tufts was like, well, she was a nurse. If she would have, you know, spoken up, like, I didn't look at her medical records because Lindsay told me her medical records. Right. And there was something going on where the meds were being demonized at home. I totally believe that. When people were saying that she wasn't honest with Patrick's reaction to her, not diagnosis, but her suggesting no, we're not bipolar people. No, we're washed. We don't get bipolar.
Lindsay didn't say a word in that moment. And the doctor and Dr. Gelada, or Nurse Gelada, looked at her and was like, are you going to say something in your own defense here? And she didn't say anything, which means this is our take on this. We believe that she is not bipolar. We believe this can be fixed. We believe you guys are over medicating her, which, you know, they were. But the whole masking situation, they gave her too much leeway because she was a nurse, and they thought she could handle it. But I guarantee you that Patrick did too. And I think there's one other layer to this, and that's religion. As far as I understand it, Patrick was brought up Catholic, and Lindsay would go to mass. She's been visited by a priest at the court. She's not a devout Catholic or anything like that. Like the way that Kevin Reddington describes it is she's gone to mass a few times. But if there is a basis from Patrick's family of Catholicism here, then I don't want to like generalize an entire religion, but Catholics don't believe in some of this stuff. They don't believe in mental health issues or bipolar diagnoses. And
pray about it. Pray
about it. And so I wonder if that's an extra layer to Patrick's approach to this. You know, I really think Patrick was like, honey, you were depressed with the last two kids and all we had to do was go to the gym. I mean, can't we do the same thing here? And she was like, no, because I haven't told you everything I've been going through because I don't want you to say what you just said to me.
But like, raise your virtual hand if you've done that. Like, who hasn't said they're fine when they're not fucking fine?
Yeah, especially to a doctor who could write something in their chart or make a phone call that would take away your job and your kids. And so women who are feeling suicidal ideation or having suicidal ideation, and they're asked that question, I think oftentimes they go, no, I'm not
Yep.
I'm not planning to do anything. It's just a thought that popped into my head, and it's probably just me being depressed.
Because they don't want a 5150.
They don't want a 5150. They don't want their kids to be taken away from them, and they don't want their job to be taken away from them. And then on top of that, they don't want their husband to think that they're a lesser human being because they've now been involuntarily committed because they are a suicide risk.
I have to go scooch and record the rundown on my podcast. I love you all. Maggie, we need to we need more virtual time with Maggie.
We do.
Love you, Mel. I'll text you later. And love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
How long are you going for, Mel?
I'm going to be on for a bit because I have to recap the actual day.
I'll probably pop soon. I'm meeting my friend for a drink who joined this to listen to me before we meet.
Very nice. Yeah, I think, where I want to focus on Patrick is the areas in which I think that he failed her as a man and a partner. But I don't believe, unfortunately, it's so crazy because as soon as all this shit started happening on TikTok, like Vinnie Politan on Court TV picked it up. And like, though he did a whole show about it and then like kind of dispelled it at the end, he used that like title on his show that was like, did Patrick Clancy actually do this or some bullshit? So it's like, I'm just like, we can't feed into this kind of shit without, like, the evidence is not there. So one of the things, I know you had some questions, but one of the things that is listed on TikTok as, like some, in a conspiracy theory where Patrick may have done this, is Lindsay's fingerprints and DNA were not on the exercise bands.
Okay.
And I'm like, guys, there are 5 people that live in that house. 3 of those people are children, and they share 50-50 DNA with the parents. And the scientists who sat on the stand told us that there was a mix of DNA and they couldn't tell whose it was on the bands.
Right.
But because of that, they hear this thing. They go, oh, Lindsay's DNA wasn't on the band, so she didn't do it. And it's like, you're not listening to the actual evidence. You're not actually trying. You want to run with something because we've gotten, actually, what I think it comes down to is we are in this country, we are getting to a place where we don't trust cops. Most of us don't.
Well, that's part of my thing. I fundamentally do not trust cops or prosecutors who are top cop. So I'm always going to question all of it.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't trust prosecutors. I don't know if you follow or listen to or hear anything about the prosecutors podcast. Those two jackasses.
I've known them since 2019.
You go look on Twitter and see what they're posting about this case. It's disgusting. And then the Manosphere has gotten involved. And now it's like, oh, poor Lindsay. She was having some postpartum. Poor Lindsay. She had to go and kill her kids.
I can't look.
There's that bullshit. But it's like with these prosecutors, the lead, like we're looking at Michael Proctor now. Rosemary Scapicchio is filing today for, I think it's 18 different cases for the records that Michael Proctor did on those 18 different cases. So we've got Michael Proctor, we've got Sean Good, we've got Michael Morrissey in Norfolk County. We've got these 2 prosecutors. We had 2 prosecutors on the Karen Reed cases. Who are we supposed to trust? Of course, everyone's coming up with conspiracy theories because we don't trust anything anymore.
Right.
And so I understand it. I understand why it's happening. But in this case, because I think it's so incredibly important for women's mental health, I'm really trying to focus on that. And so
I think I'm with what you just said. Like, you've got me on board. I am.
Yeah.
But again, I do think it is important to question the things. But I think, like, now I know. You showed me the Sue O'Connell, and it's like, oh, great. I believe her. She is a journalist.
The thing is, there are a bunch of journalists that are in the courtroom, and one of them is Bob Mata from Defense Diaries, and he's telling us also what he hears. He wasn't there for the 911 call, but the journalists who were there for the 911 call have told us, and they've put out transcripts of everything that was said in the 911 call, and they've also had journalists put out, here is like a script of everything that happened in the 911 call. I don't think the 911 call I know like everyone wants to focus on it because it's the first moments when Patrick is responding to this. But we all know that you also can't determine what somebody did or how they feel about death based on their immediate reactions of grief or guilt or whatever it might be. Like, this is what I rail against for Pam Smart. She was a cold ice princess who never showed any emotion in court, so therefore she killed her husband. You know, it's the same kind of shit. It's, you can do it, you can use it in different ways, but all the 911 call says to me, the parts that I have heard, because the thing is, the media did release huge portions of this 911 call to the public well before this trial, before the judge put a media ban on it. And the things that we did here and there, from what I heard from Patrick, this isn't a man who did this. I don't know if it's real or not, but I don't hear it. I hear like realistic horror at what he's seeing. Which is hard to listen to. And it's hard to listen to Lindsay like sob and hyperventilate in the courtroom. And it's really difficult to watch these two women just keep it moving, not care that she's sobbing, not care that the jury is now crying, not care that her family is crying, not care that the thing is, they are torturing everyone in the courtroom by making them sit through something that's already been stipulated to. Something they already agreed to. So
it's intentional.
Anyway.
Exactly. Like you mentioned, like Darlie, it's all it's really, I'm glad people are talking about this because I mean, we remember Andrea Yates from back in the day. I mean, she's the monster of all monsters, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, I appreciate you being on. I know you have to run.
I'm gonna go.
Anytime
Love you. This was great. My understanding has been deepened and I'm on the same page as you now, Mel.
All right. Well, I love you. And thank you so much for taking the Greg for me.
I will.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Ooh, that was a healthy debate. I'm so like, you guys, I'm so trying to protect I know that Ellyn and Maggie are not conspiracy theorists. Let me just say that. They, like me, question everything. And you guys have heard me do this with Rebecca. You always say, like, Rebecca's the more, like, sort of even-keeled, can both sides something, can see both sides of it. And I'm, like, the passionate one who's like, no, the judge is wrong here. The prosecutor sucks. They're, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I guess I feel that way about this case. I think there is some room to criticize Patrick, but I don't want to get to, I don't think Patrick even needs to be the focus anymore. Like, the focus needs to be on these doctors, in my opinion. But anyway, I know that I have missed a ton in the chat. So I'm going to go back up just a little bit and see who I missed. I don't think I missed any super chats. And I don't think I haven't missed any tips or anything like that. Okay. Let's take a deep breath. So much energy in the room. Okay. They gave her way too much credit. I don't know what that means. Okay, so I'm going to go back to 10 minutes ago. See if I can get through some of this stuff. Braun says, I think he's just a basic dude. Yeah, I agree with that. We're talking about Patrick. Goblin Misfit says, when I was in high school, our mental health education largely consisted of a 2-hour group discussion about self-exit prevention. That was it. Yeah, I remember that. Venus Blue Cupcake says, I wish he was helping pay for her defense. Her parents had to sell their house to pay for this trial. I agree with that. He is helping her raise money, though. That is one thing. Let me see if I can find the GoFundMe. Patrick is helping raise money for Lindsay. And he also is part of the suit. The civil suit, obviously. And they're trying to raise 150. They've raised 122. Fundraiser. Let me just put this up on the screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And in case you want to shoot them some dollar bills. This fundraiser was created after seeing how many people. Wait, did I put it up? No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. This fundraiser was created after seeing how many people have asked how they can help Lindsay Clancy's parents, the Musgroves. During an incredibly difficult time, so many people have expressed a genuine desire to support them, and I wanted to provide a clear and transparent way for those who wish to help do so. The fundraiser was not created at the request or direction of Lindsay's parents, and I have not yet been able to establish contact with them. I'm not representing the family or speaking on their behalf. I want to be transparent about that from the beginning. The intention of this fundraiser is to support Lindsay's parents. Any funds raised are intended to ultimately benefit the Musgrove family, subject to establishing the appropriate beneficiary arrangement and following GoFundMe's requirements. I created this because people wanted a way to help, and I wanted to provide a clear yada, yada, yada. So this is organized by Brandy Mulligan. I don't know who that is, but they're in Wisconsin, so that's really great. I don't know if there's more than one. Let me see. Stop sharing. Man. And I just want you guys to know, Ellyn and I were not arguing. That's what we do with each other. We argue vociferously, but like we debate really. So we have healthy debate. Okay. This was the GoFundMe was created by a family friend specifically to assist Patrick Clancy with funeral costs, his own. So that's a different one. And Lindsay's defense fees and personal expenses are being funded entirely by her own parents, who have reportedly drained their own financial resources to support her representation. While Patrick publicly forgave Lindsay shortly after the incident and acknowledged her severe postpartum mental health struggles, his support has been emotional and cooperative regarding the truth of her medical state rather than financial. Patrick has channeled his fundraising efforts entirely into charitable causes rather than a personal or legal defense funds. He ran the Boston Marathon to honor his late children, raising nearly $76,000 directly for Boston Children's Hospital. So I guess he is not. I had heard that he was, but no. Oh wait, maybe. See, I know I read something created by the Musgrove family. The response was fast. As of tonight, let me see if this is the same one. No, that's not it. Okay. Anyway, there is a legal fundraiser happening. They are trying to raise $150,000. I don't know what Kevin Reddington is charging. I don't know how that's working, but I know that anybody who is having to fight like this is having to pay a lot of money to do so because they have to get experts. I don't think that Dr. Zeisel is cheap. So anyway, okay. And to be fair, I think this was when bipolar really started to become a possibility, right? To him, she didn't have bipolar. I don't think either one of them wanted her to have bipolar, but I sort of feel like that was the family line. That Patrick, I mean, we heard the testimony. Gelada said, when I started to tell them that it seemed to me like she was presenting some, bipolar symptoms, Patrick said, my wife doesn't have bipolar. And then she said she looked at Lindsay and Lindsay didn't say anything. That's, I didn't feel good about that moment. I talked about this on the show the other day. I felt like that was a red flag. Yes. And this I agree with, unused barren area. I think he did a lot wrong, but one defense of them, bipolar can create catastrophic life situations for people. I completely agree. I don't think that this was a normal situation that either one of them understood how to handle. I don't even think the parents knew how to handle, like their parents knew what to do for them. I don't think the doctors knew what to do for them. And they should have. That's the problem. My blame lies solely with the prescribers and the practitioners, because even if Lindsay wasn't reporting, even if she was masking symptoms, the way she was acting in communication with the doctors should have told the doctors everything they sort of needed to know about her mania. And it didn't. And I am still blown away by that. Yeah, Kylie said, even his demeanor about the meds is to demonize them, and she should not have been doing that. She was hyper-focused on it. Something was going on with it for sure. Neither one of them wanted her to be on meds. That was a thing for them. And I understand that philosophy, because that's the philosophy I had before I started on anxiety and depression, like SSRIs. This was in 2018 or so, is when I started taking meds. I started taking sertraline, which is Zoloft. And I held off for as long as I possibly could because I was in a place in my life where I only ate organic. I worked out every day. I drank, all the water I needed to drink. I didn't drink any soda. I was like, I wouldn't allow anything into my body that had chemicals into it. And the reason I did that mostly is because I couldn't really afford health insurance. And so the only way that I could make sure that my body was as healthy as possible was to make sure that I was keeping it as clean as possible and as active as possible so that I wouldn't need to go to the doctor. But then when medication was brought up, I was like, no, I don't take meds. I don't do that. I don't even take I don't take antibiotics if I can keep away from it, that kind of thing. But eventually my anxiety got to be so great and so encompassing that I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to do this. And once I got over that, but to me, Lindsay and Patrick sound like the kind of parents based on her web searches, and the kind of people that were that they were, Whole Foods, organic, extreme runners, work out every day, make sure the babies are only getting organic, don't want to take meds while breastfeeding, all understandable. And so the idea of like the anxiety that comes with then adding a chemical to your system when you're that clean, it's really scary. And I can speak from personal experience about that. Ellie said, I thought the telehealth was partially due to COVID. Some of it was due to Lindsay being a new mom and scheduling. They were at the tail end of COVID. So this happened in 2023, the beginning of 2023. So it was when we were starting to go back to the doctor's offices. Some of it was telehealth because of COVID. Some of it was not. She never met her psychiatrist in person, though. Dr. Tufts never met her in person until Dr. Tufts testified in this trial. Aaron, I can only imagine. I did it alone when my daughter was a baby, and honestly, it was easier. Sometimes the partner is the problem. Yeah. And I mean, we have to be honest about this, about the two genders. Well, two of the genders. Men and women are very different. They're also really difficult. Men and women are very different in the way they go about life and the way they think about things. It depends on, some of it is learned behavior. Some of it is experiential. But like I was saying before, I think a lot of men, and this is not their fault, but a lot of men were raised to think, just get over it. You got to get on with it. You got to go to work. You got to do, whatever. Just get on with it. Mental health isn't a thing I have time for. And I think that's sort of trickled down through the generations. And then women, the thing that's trickled down for women throughout generations is that women are hysterical. And, they're just overreacting to everything. That's why women can't be presidents, because they're too emotional and they get their periods and they blah, blah, blah. And those two things, philosophies, life philosophies, and the way we move through the world, they don't go together very well. Which is why I'm a lesbian, probably. I mean, I was born this way, but it makes sense to me. It's foreign to me to think of even sharing a half a day trying to communicate with a man. I don't know. That's just me. But I've been trying to put myself in the situation. My Lindsay was married to a man and had children with a man. And luckily she didn't go through all this stuff that Lindsay went through. But I try to put myself in the situation, like, what if I had been her partner? I just think that, like, had I seen Lindsay going through everything she was going through, it would have been all hands on deck, and it would have been a supportive thing. And it would have been me saying, and I mean, like, hindsight 2020, that kind of thing. But I know who I am when one of our family members is suffering through a mental health thing or an injury or just having a bad day, that my immediate thought is not, how can we fix this so we don't have to worry about it anymore? It's, what do you need to get out of you that will help move forward? So if it's, I am fearing these drugs and I don't want to take them. Okay, so how do we make a plan to figure out the best way to combat this so that it's helpful for you? It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. I think the bottom line here is, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. This is about your humanity, and this is about your children. And we've got to stop worrying about what society and our family members and everyone else in the world will think about us, because when we worry about that, we're putting that worry on top of the other worries that we're already dealing with. And it's like, it shouldn't exist. So if that was a worry that Lindsay was experiencing, which I think she was, based on what her journal said and based on, you know, how she was dealing with Patrick and his philosophy and his ideas about life and how to deal with this, I think she was really worried about it. And I honestly think she's probably been masking these feelings and this anxiety for a very long time. She just figured out a way to manage it to some extent with the other two kids. And now it got to be too much. And she was really worried about it now. I just want to say thank you very much, Nancy Madden, for the $50 tip. Holy cannoli, that is so generous of you. Thank you so much. And let me just read your message. Hold on. Just so you guys know, while I'm pulling this up, I really appreciate your tips. You guys know that the tips keep us going. They keep it moving along. We love your super chats. I hope that everyone is liking and sharing and commenting on this video. I have been trying to do this in a trauma-free way. I know we dipped into some of the stuff about the kids tonight, and that might have been difficult, and I apologize for that. But if you want to send over a tip, the Venmo, Cash App, PayPal are at the top, as well as a QR code. And if you, whatever tip you send over, I will read your message aloud to the chat. Obviously, I do that with super chats as well. But with the chat in general, I try not to just focus on super chats. I want to make sure that we're all engaging, and that if there are questions, we can answer them. And if people are, you know, have things they want to say, I think it's important to put them on the screen and talk about them. But I do make it a point, unless you don't want me to read all of the tips that come in. So Nancy, again, thank you so much for the $50 tip. Very hard to accept, understand bipolar diagnosis. My son had psychosis during his first major manic episode when he was diagnosed on his 21st fucking birthday, 8 years ago. Terrifying to witness. Hospitalized for 11 long days. He's been doing great lately, and I'll love him forever. I am so happy to hear that. I'm so happy that your son got the help that he needed, but it is traumatic. It is. I told my Lindsay last night about, it wasn't a manic episode. It was an extreme anxiety episode that I had before I started on drugs. And it was, I won't go into detail because it's personal, but it was this thing where I had received a notification of something, but I was going to have to wait 3 days to find out what it was. And in those 3 days, I made up all of the worst scenarios in my brain. And instead of waiting the 3 days, I went to offices. I went to all these places trying to find a piece of paper. And at the end, it was, the end result was actually like a good thing for me. It was like a benefit to me, but my brain went to the worst case scenario, and that I was in physical danger. And that's when I knew, I'm like, that delusion can't stand in my life. And so I need to get meds to help deal with this. The moment I started taking sertraline, it's what worked for me. And when I felt my brain like drop all of the nuts and bolts into the little compartments that they were all supposed to be in, and I felt calm, it was life-changing. And so unfortunately, Lindsay didn't get to experience that because she wasn't on the right meds, and because they kept trying to do this cocktail of meds for her that wasn't working, and because she was too scared of the drugs because she had been misinformed by the internet, let's be honest. So anyway, Nancy, I'm so happy for you and your son. Thank you so much for the $50. I really appreciate that. Kylie says, I really think his reaction is a big clue, you guys, and we're never really going to get that information unless she shares it. We can blame Patrick for not being a present partner. Completely agree, Kitty, and I do. M says, I'm not believing, sorry, I keep bouncing my computer, but my fan is all over the place. I'm not believing that Patrick did this, but I'm not buying that he's a super great husband. Agreed. God, sorry. Stay. Okay. I think it's okay to point out a partner's role in preventing and addressing severe mental illness postpartum. I agree. In her own defense, Lindsay didn't want a bipolar diagnosis either. No, she didn't. But I wonder, Science and Sass, if she didn't want that diagnosis because she was worried about how Patrick or her family or somebody else would judge her for being bipolar, or because she would lose her job, or because her kids might be taken away, all those things. Excuse me. Lady Harlot says, yeah, that's when the medical professionals make an excuse to get the man out of the room so they can have a real conversation. They're literally trained on this. Yeah, and anybody, it's not just men. If someone is accompanying somebody to a therapy session and they are speaking for that person and they're not helping, usually they get that person out of the room. So I'm surprised that didn't happen. Has anyone heard why her parents were not coming to relieve her? They did, Mary, or Marty. I'm sorry. I think I said Mary before. Marty, her mother came to stay with them for like an extended stay to help out, and to be there for Lindsay. They also had a nanny. The doctor's not looking at her medical history as a serious concern. Ellie said, Mel's totally right. If Lindsay had actually died, Patrick would be on trial. I believe that might be the case. I don't know. I mean, the husband is usually the first suspect. And if there was any inkling that something was weird or wrong here, they definitely would have looked at Patrick just to rule him out for sure. Free Father Bob, Miss Priss, free Father Bob. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you will, because we're going to get into it in a minute. I do need to get back to this breakdown. Her parents live in Connecticut. Her mom did come down, though. I keep saying this was a masking mess. There was levels to it. Who she was, their demographic, they were lifestyle, her profession. Also, I think there is an obsessive compulsive component. I agree. No, it's not a Patrick bashing gathering. I said this right off the top, Cat Toes. I'm not here to bash Patrick. There were some red flags, but I'm not the person who's dipping into any kind of conspiracy theories with Patrick. They think many of the witches hung in Salem had postpartum psychosis as well, Whippet Lover says. I would believe that. I don't know if it's true, but I'd believe it. Teacup says, I'm so good at masking that my ADHD group pointed it out to me and how I seem like I have it all together when I absolutely do not. Yeah. Okay. No, ma'am, that would be Scientology, not Catholicism. Summertime says, as I said, I am not Catholic. I know that there is some guilt associated in the Catholic religion, and that, you have to atone for sins and things like that. And I do believe that there is, well, I don't really want to break down religion because I'm not an expert, but I wonder if it played into this at all, is what I'll say. If you have to be perfect to perform for your husband that expects perfection, ... Yeah. Fucking Vinny, Ron said. Yeah, I know. Nancy Grace, even. How is Nancy Grace dipping into this conspiracy theory? She usually blames the husband. Like, I get that, but like she's been on Patrick's side this whole time. Excuse me. I love hearing a shout out to Queen Jolene. She is the queen and I love her very much. Let's see. Kylie, your comments have been so astute. I appreciate you. Vinny might as well switch over to the National Enquirer. M said, yeah, I know. Oh no. Dana said, so disappointed in Annie Elise. Why? What's Annie Elise doing? Tell me she's not dipping into these conspiracy theories. Please tell me. Oh, okay. Kylie was like, it's heavily Catholic care, and I can attest to that. The older generation really don't believe in it. Mental health, I assume, is what you're talking about. It's a common issue. I hate Brett. I don't know who Brett is. Okay. Oh, Lindsay, are you leaving? Oh, thanks, baby. Okay. Oh, thanks, love. You want to say hi? Lindsay says hi. She's wearing her cherry shirt. I love that shirt. Don't get me started with how little people understand about DNA. Why are people making TikToks about something they clearly don't understand? Because the problem is they hear one little tidbit from someone like Vinnie Politan, or like, with the John O'Keefe case, like somebody from the Antis, and they hear something that it has been telephoned down, meaning like diluted the information down into Lindsay's DNA wasn't on there was a mixture of DNA on the exercise bands. So therefore, Lindsay's DNA wasn't like, they couldn't pull Lindsay's DNA. And that trickles down into Lindsay's DNA was not on the exercise bands. And that is not true. But that's how conspiracy theories are made. And so it makes me crazy. There are, oh no, Venus. Blue cupcake. There are men telling me that men get postpartum depression just as bad as women. Are you serious right now? Are you serious? You're hearing that?
He's a precious boy.
I trust Red, and that keeps me grounded. I agree. I agree, and I think that Patrick was trying as well. He didn't have the right tools, just like Lindsay didn't have the right tools. That's my point, is that it's not Patrick's fault if he believes that she can just get over this and that there should be a quick fix. That's what he believes because that's what he was taught. I just or that he's never had to deal with mental health issues himself, or he had at least has never, paid attention to them. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we're talking about Brett, the dude on TikTok. Yeah, I can't with Brett. He's definitely not a serious person. I think Patrick did all he knew how to do as well. Agreed. And I know that somebody gave... Okay. Jen said, I agree, Mel. Everyone that I work with is on the Patrick Did It train. I tell them to get off of TikTok. Good. People need to get off TikTok. It's a cesspool. It's worse than Twitter, I think. Okay. Somebody gave a bunch of memberships and I need to find it. I'm really behind. Where did it go? Okay. Oh, there it is. Ron. 5 memberships. You guys, let me know if you got those memberships. And if you did, please don't forget to renew them. I don't like that meds are being demonized because they do help a lot of people. Whippet says, I agree completely. I just said that. Sertraline changed my life. Remeron helps me sleep at night. But the problem is that had I been given as many drugs as Lindsay had been given, I would probably have been a complete and utter mess as well. My wife isn't bipolar. I didn't love that. Yeah, I didn't either. And it wasn't just that. It was that the doctor or the nurse, Gelada, looked at Lindsay and Lindsay didn't say anything. And to me, in that moment, I think a lot of straight women have been in that situation. I think, probably a lot of women altogether have been in that situation where someone's speaking for you and you don't feel empowered to speak up for yourself and say, no, that's actually not what I think. She didn't feel empowered to do that. And then there's also the possibility that she agreed with him. But if she did, I feel like she would have said something in that moment, I don't know, just me. Well, I'm congested today. Okay. All right, guys, I got to get back to this. I'm sorry if I'm missing some of your comments. M gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Appreciate ya. Yes, I agree. Science and sass. I can't believe that Gelada didn't say anything in that moment. I mean, that is their responsibility. Granted, she's not a therapist, but she's got to advocate for her client. If someone's speaking for her that is not her, it would be one thing if Lindsay signed over, signed over to Patrick that he was her executor or that he spoke for her, but he didn't. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back into some of this testimony. The thing we left off on was the Facebook post or the Facebook search, which we don't really need to get into because we've already heard it. But what Reddington did on cross with this one witness, the first witness, I'll go back. His name is Kyle Pavo. He's a Massachusetts State Police officer with the cybercrime unit. What Reddington was able to get out was that Reddington confronted Pavo with medical records showing that on the exact morning of August 23rd, 2022, Lindsay had a 10 a.m. appointment at South Shore Health in Kingston for her son Dawson, making it improbable she was browsing country music and Wikipedia at home, which means Patrick was, not Lindsay. He also, Reddington also entered searches from the Surface Pro into evidence, showing extensive research into mental illness and prescriptions. And I'm going to read a couple of them for you. Quote, what to do when a psychiatrist overprescribes, end quote. Quote, can bipolar disorder be temporary, end quote. Quote, can benzos reveal bipolar disorder, end quote. Quote, how long are detox programs, end quote. Quote, what is DBT, end quote. Quote, what is mania, end quote, ketamine therapy, end quote. So we know what she was looking up on that morning. And that was the morning of August. So this is before the drugs. This is before September when she started getting all of the drugs. She was already thinking about it, which means to me, she was probably already spiraling and she just wasn't showing it to anybody. Okay, so the next person that we got on the stand was actually very consequential. His name was Chiappini. And let me grab the time code, 129. I actually liked how this guy testified. I thought that he was very matter of fact. He was very much like, yes, sir, no, ma'am, that kind of thing. He didn't appear to be frustrated. I think he's done this before. He was used to being asked these questions. All right, this is Chiappini. And basically, oh, that's bad. Why is that so yellow? This is the guy. So Chiappini is a Massachusetts State Police officer, and he was responsible for the mobile device forensics. So he did a direct examination. He conducted an advanced logical extraction of Lindsay Clancy's iPhone using Celebrite. Yes, I think he was good, Miss Priss. He was very honest, and he just was there to do his job, and that was great. So what he did was he detailed the day of the incident. So I'm going to take you through that timeline. I'm going to tell you because there's no sense in listening to these prosecutors lay this out. I'm just going to tell you the timeline that he says it was. January 24th, 2023, the day of the incident at 4:13 p.m. Apple Maps route preview for 3V restaurant in Plymouth, showing real-time traffic and driving duration. 4:42 to 4:47 web searches for kids Miralax and visit to the CVS website. 4:48 p.m. outgoing phone call from Lindsay to the CVS in Kingston. 4:53 text to Patrick. Any chance you want to do takeout from 3V? I didn't cook anything. It's been a long day. 5:06 to 5:08 text exchange confirming dinner orders. Lindsay's Mediterranean Power Bowl, Patrick scallop, and pork belly risotto. 5:10 p.m. calls placed to 3V restaurant to order takeout. 5:15 p.m. text to Patrick specifically Pedialyte liquid stool softener. 5:33 to 5:34, Patrick calls Lindsay from CVS. She calls him back, which is a 14-second duration. So she didn't answer the first time he called. Hold on, I just need to get a sip. And for some reason, they brought this up. It didn't mean anything to me. I don't know. Maybe it means something to you guys. But they noted that on the evening of January 23rd, so the night before this incident, live photos of the children on Lindsay's iPhone were modified, cropped, and saved as new JPEG files. Does that seem out of the ordinary to you? I feel like we do that every time we take pictures. We make it look a little bit more like we want it to, right? I don't know. It's weird. They brought it up though. And I think Kevin Reddington, he goes into it because he's like, did you notice? I mean, there were pictures all over the house. There were pictures everywhere. There were pictures all over the phones. There were pictures. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to show you is the cross-examination because Reddington starts to go through all of these search queries. And it's a little tedious, but I think it's important. So bear with me. 259.
And change it.
Mobile devices. Okay. And the other.
Hold on. Okay. So he's taking them through. He's taking them through the to help the jury understand like how he was able to what the extraction says, like the time of each entry, that kind of thing. We all know how this goes. So he's explaining it for the jury again. He's going through. He's basically like, this is why this wasn't her making the searches about the musician who unalived himself. She was at a doctor's appointment, so he gets through all of that. And then, okay, and this is the mail. And then he actually gets in this part, which I thought was good. Okay, here we go.
On that page, who signed in under what email?
The artifact is indicating that there's a title with an email.
What's the name?
patrickclancy@gmail.com.
So that's fair to say that would be patrickclancy@gmail.com. That's his email that signed in on Lindsay's Facebook.
I can't confirm that.
Okay.
I love his magnifying glass. Makes me so happy.
And when you were going through her phone, is it fair to say that, there wasn't much in her life that wasn't exposed to the state police and the DA's office and the investigators? Your report initially was 180,000 pages, a PDF, right?
It was a very large download, sir.
Does 180,000 sound about right?
It does.
So 180,000 pages on a PDF, you do a number of extractions, and then you get into the one that you were testifying about. The district attorney indicated you stated that it was 768 pages of text messages that she had, along with photographs, perhaps?
That was a timeline search. The number of items in that report are indicative only of the time frame in which I was utilizing within the software.
Okay. So when you went through her phone, did you come across on a Celebrate report searching for where is the carotid artery?
I don't recall.
Did you come across? Might be easier this way. This is a Celebrate report on Lindsay's phone, right? Now, I understand that you might not have been standing next to another cop going through the records and documents on her phone, but on this, you're able to recognize that as being a Celebrate report, right?
It is a Celebrate report, sir.
And it's a Celebrate report for her phone. You can tell by the numbers, right? If this would help a little bit. You see this here where it talks about source file? It's got a number, quadruple 08110-0009258 and all the rest of them. That would be her phone, right?
I love his.
I don't have that number memorized.
Of course not, but it would be in your report?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is still just getting through like how he does his
Sorry,
reports.
it's just to her phone.
We presented
You
it.
don't have that here.
What I want to get to is
Yes, sir.
start reading out some of these
A search
searches.
on Safari, how to slit your throat to die.
I don't recall.
Search such as
Yes,
carotid artery.
I don't recall.
Did you come across a search on Safari, how to slit your throat to die?
It's awful.
I don't recall.
Did you come across a search, can you turn airbags off on Kia Sorento?
I don't recall.
Did you know that she had a Kia Sorento?
I did not.
This guy is so matter of fact how all witnesses should be.
Does that give you the numbers for what I just went through with these searches?
The universal device identifier is a match.
It isn't it? Okay.
Yes, between this document in my hand and the ones that you're holding.
So what's the first search on the first box?
The value associated with the source file is carotid artery.
And the next box?
How to slit your throat to die.
And the next box?
Can you turn airbags off on Kia Sorento?
And these all came from Lindsay's phone, right?
I can't confirm that.
Well, it's a pretty good inference, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Run her off of these.
Okay. For some reason, the prosecution objects to him admitting those into evidence. I don't know why. Don't those searches mean planning? Dana said, don't those searches mean planning? I think those searches mean, how do you do it? How do you do this thing? I don't think she was, those those searches specifically were about unaliving yourself, not the children. I don't think she did any planning about hurting the children. I think she did plan to hurt herself. Those show planning to how, like, where is the carotid artery? How to do that to your throat. Do airbags automatically deploy in a Kia Sorento? She didn't want to be here anymore. And she did have a plan. What this shows me, and that this is why the prosecution is screwing themselves. She did have a plan to do this to herself. And yet she was telling all the doctors, I've been thinking these thoughts, but no, I don't have a plan. A plan was starting to form. Yeah, Pimabo says it. A plan was evolving. Yes. This does sound like research, the first evidence of any kind of premeditation. Premeditation to unalive herself, yes, but not to do what she did to the kids, which is what she's on trial for. Yes, Lady Harlot, I agree with you. All right. They've been marked for identification.
You can question you about it. You do agree with me? Yes. And T for identification. Not an exhibit yet. The jury would have, but nevertheless, you can question you about it. You do agree with me that the phone identifier numbers are listed here, and they're pretty much the same on these three exhibits, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that would be Lindsay Clancy's phone, right?
I can't confirm that. Yes, sir.
So I've just handed you exhibit 237, sir. Can you tell me what that exhibit is? The district attorney questioned you about it.
Laura.
It's a supplemental report but we're back that I compiled from the Celebrate software on the calendar application.
Do you have access to what was referred to as the mummy text messages?
Not with this document, sir.
Mummy
So
is in mom.
that document
Mommy.
is the calendar that we had already gone through as far as seeing the doctor 9:45 and 10 o'clock appointments, right?
That's correct.
Sad. Heads up.
Is the,
These are going to be text messages from between Lindsay and her mom.
That's January of 2023, sir.
Exhibit 238, sir. If I may. On the exhibit, sir, this would be captioned the mummy text message thread between Lindsay and her mother. Is that fair to say?
For January of 2023, sir, yes.
Okay, so this search was limited by the police to January of 2023 for the texts between Lindsay and her mother, right?
Correct, sir. It's a filtered supplemental report from Celebrate.
Filtered supplemental report, okay. So who would be, when the jury's looking at these in the jury room, who would be the blue texter? Would it be Lindsay or her mother?
I'm in the blue bubble.
You could just look at the participant
That's me,
delivered
I'm in the blue
status sent
bubbles.
from Lindsay owner to mommy. So the green would be from the owner of the phone to the recipient mommy.
Okay, so green would be Lindsay, blue would be the mother.
That's correct.
All right. So give you exhibit 238.
Here we go.
September 28th. Oh, you didn't do, that's right, you didn't do September, you only did January. Now, let's say January 3rd, 8:35 in the morning. Do you have that?
One moment, sir.
Sure.
It takes a while to go through this and it drives me nuts.
Yes, sir.
And what did Lindsay say to her mother on January 3rd at 8:35 in the morning?
At 59 seconds, sir.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm all right, period. Anxious about meeting with the whole psychiatry team.
How about the next message that she sent at January 3rd at 8:37 in the morning?
In 31 seconds.
Sure.
I'm just worried they won't send me home soon.
Now, do you know, as a police officer working in this case, what she meant, send me home? Do you know where she was on January 3rd?
It would be an inference only, sir.
That's all right. You can infer.
I believe she was in a medical facility.
McLean Hospital.
I recall that calls were being mentioned.
And then on January 8th, sir, at 10:44 in the morning, was there a text from her mother to Lindsay, if you know? 10:44. So the mother asked you, did you sleep good?
From mommy to Lindsay. Great. That would be fun. Sleep good last night, question mark.
And did she respond? She meaning Lindsay?
She did.
What'd she say?
I actually did.
And this was on January 8th, sir?
That's correct.
January 10th, could you pull that up, please? At 9:48 in the morning?
I apologize, sir.
Yes, Rebecca would be very happy if y'all went and got some of your Blue Bubbles merch today. Rebecca just made some new merch that says, I'm in the Blue Bubbles. I think there's there's a mug and maybe a t-shirt They're real cute. Hey, Miss Jessica. This trial is not a good look for the Commonwealth, and those women are horrible to want to torture a mentally ill person. Just horrific, Connie said. I agree with you, Connie. Thanks for being here. Pamabo says, I think this trooper is basically honest, but he sure doesn't want to hurt the Commonwealth's case. It's interesting you say that, because I assumed that was the case as well. And then as I went on listening to him going back and forth with Reddington, I started thinking he might actually be thinking differently about the case as he was listening to Reddington. But I don't know, maybe that's just my wishful thinking that somebody was being, someone could change their minds. I don't know. Confirmation bias is strong in the world.
Can you repeat the time on the 10th?
It takes him forever to go through this.
You're doing today, question mark.
And what did she say in response?
Good, period, at the gym with the kids.
And what was the date? Was that January 10th?
2023, 9:48, 21 seconds a.m.
Okay, so you guys kind of get the idea of the back and forth.
From Mommy to Lindsay.
And go to January 12th, 11:09 in the morning.
Hey, Mullen, Law.
Yes, sir.
What did she say? What did Mommy say?
From Mommy to Lindsay, January 12th, 2023, 11:09, 32 seconds a.m. Still feeling a little better, question mark.
And how did she respond? How did Lindsay respond?
A little bit.
And then on January 16th, well, wait a minute, January 14th at 1:05, I think in the afternoon. Can you pull that one up?
Yes, sir, one moment.
Okay. You recall where it starts as, I'm waiting for the day. And that would be from Lindsay to her mother.
Can you repeat the time one more time, sir?
1:05?
AM or PM?
PM.
I have a message from Lindsay to Mommy, January 14th, 2023, 1:05, 13 seconds PM.
Saying?
About the same, period, hanging in there and waiting for the day I wake up and feel me.
So she says, waiting for the day I wake up feeling like me, right?
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty good evidence for them.
Me, January 16th, 2023, 10:20, 24 seconds AM.
And what did it say?
It was fun, period. Cora and Dawson enjoyed, period.
Now, did it make reference at any point in the text that was a reference to the Cape Codder?
That's the water park that they went to.
Would you agree that she inquired of her mother? The mother asked, are you starting a new med? She said, I did. I started it two nights ago. And that basically the mother was asking her about her medications and how she felt and how she was doing, right?
One moment, sir. I just have to get to that point.
No, you don't have to answer. That's right.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
3V restaurant, looking at the distance from the house to 3V restaurant, looking at menus. You recall answering her questions on that?
I do, sir.
And you're familiar also prior to that on the same day that she had taken the baby to a doctor and that Pat texted her and asked basically, how did it work out? Do you recall that?
I recall the doctor's appointment. I don't recall the text.
Do you recall that Lindsay sent a picture of her and her children taken that afternoon?
I recall the snowman photo.
I'm sorry?
We're not going to show the kids the faces.
Are you aware that there were searches for medical, such as questions regarding bipolar symptoms, psychosis? Can you be in DKA without high blood sugar? Page after page after page. Trazodone. What is the effect of trazodone? Wellbutrin. How do you feel on trazodone? Ativan addiction. Prozac, trazone, going on and on and on. You guys saw this on her search on her phone to celebrate, right?
I recall those searches, sir.
Okay.
He's going to actually have him go through a bunch of those searches, and we'll get to that in just a second. Yeah, this is what I was thinking. This is what I took from this too, Ellie. It seemed like by the end, the officer felt duped by the state, especially with the 10 a.m. doctor appointment. That's what I was feeling. I thought, oh, this is just going to be another trooper who is here to hold water for the state. And by the end of it, I think he was starting to be like, wait a minute, and I don't know if that's true, but maybe it's just what I was thinking when I was watching it. But if you think it too, then I'm starting to think maybe it was a thing. Let's see. So late for the stream. Hi, Mullen Law. Hi, Maria. Mel, so appreciate the no train. I think you meant no trauma stream. Thank you so much. You are welcome. I'm not trying to traumatize anybody here. Allie said, I'm a big fan of Judge Sullivan. He actually does what a judge should do. Yeah, for the most part, he's been pretty good. He also is under a bit of fire, though, because the state Supreme Court just overturned one of his rulings. So he's being extra careful in this case, which I'm glad he is. Yeah, I'm just saying, said maybe not duped, but definitely annoyed that they would put him in that position. Agree. Okay.
So the medical search is under.
Any objection?
No.
All right, that may be admitted.
For schizophrenia. Do you recall, sir, that there was also a search for schizophrenia? I'll say that.
Not specifically.
Well, can I trust you, sir, and your extraction report? Does that refresh your memory that there was a search on her phone for schizophrenia? So it says schizophrenia?
Maybe he doesn't know how to spell
Yes, sir.
schizophrenia.
What was the date of that search?
January 19th, 2023, 9:58:01 seconds a.m.
How about psychosis? Did she search for psychosis as well?
If I may. There's a keyword search in psychosis in a Google search.
That would be a keyword search, as you said, in a Google search on the January 20th.
January 20th, 2023, 8:39:0 seconds p.m.
Okay. And then was there also a search for Seroquel?
Seroquel was part of a search, yes.
And what was the rest of the search?
On Seroquel, feel like I can't have a conversation.
Okay. And it goes on a number of other inquiries as well, correct? Dealing with Seroquel.
That's correct, sir.
So these are keyword
further-
searches. Seroquel.
Do you recall that there were a number of pages where she Googled and was inquiring about suicide?
Suicide. Yeah, all that.
Yes, sir.
And can you tell us when she was Googling suicide?
December 29th, 2022, 1:02:14 seconds p.m.
December
Would
29th.
you agree that she also Googled on a number of occasions sleep?
Sleep is one keyword and part of a Google search, correct?
And then there's a number of pages that are attached to that dealing with the search for sleep, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Do you know the time frame that we're talking about from the Celebrate search?
Multiple entries, sir. Majority of them are in January of 2023.
January 2023.
Also, a much larger package of searches for trazodone. Is that correct?
Big packet of
Yes, so
searches
trazodone is
for
one keyword
trazodone.
as part of multiple Google searches.
Zoloft?
Zoloft. This is so smart the way he has
Correct.
this parsed out. I love it.
If I may just remove this, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Earliest entry is December 31st, 2022, 7:06:39 seconds p.m.
She also, on her phone, is a search for benzo withdrawals, right?
Yes, sir. Benzo is listed as a keyword as part of another search.
Also,
January 20th,
for Wellbutrin?
January 16th, 2023, 9:14:47 seconds a.m.
And a search for McLean?
Hospital.
Correct, sir. McLean is part of a keyword of a Google search.
What's the time frame?
December 29th, 2022, 8:52:37 seconds a.m.
Was there also a search for insomnia?
Yes, sir. Insomnia is part of a keyword of a Google search.
What's the time frame?
December 31st,
Red
2022,
printed out the
7:12:58 seconds p.m.
Love that comment.
21st, did you say? 30th.
December 31st, 2022, sir.
And is there a search for keyword ketamine?
Ketamine.
K-E-T-A-M-I-N-E.
Yes, sir. Ketamine is part of a Google search. It's a keyword within the Google search.
What's the time frame?
For this entry, January 20th, 2023, 8:39:0 seconds p.m.
We also search pulled up on Celebrate for Lamictal.
Yes, the word Lamictal was part of a Google search.
And what's the time frame?
January 16th.
I just brought up the magnifying glass just because he brings it up to the witness stand with him sometimes, and I love that. I don't know if there was actually, I don't remember there actually being a magnifying glass moment. There might be.
2023, 9.
For postpartum and Google searches for postpartum depression and various aspects of postpartum.
Yes, sir.
And what's the time frame, Boris?
They all occur within January of 2023, with the earliest date being the 11th of January 2023, and proceeding all the way to the 19th of January 2023.
Item the Celebrate report for Lindsay's cell phone.
It is, sir.
Can you tell us what the time frame is?
So would you like it for the first entry or all the
Just
entries?
give me the idea, like, bracket, starting on when, ending on when. We don't have to go through all.
The earliest entry appears to be December 6th, 2022, 9:17:05 seconds a.m., with the last entry being January 20th, 2023, 8:13:48 seconds p.m.
4 days before.
And search for bipolar. That was on her phone.
Keyword bipolar is part of a Google search, correct?
Bracketed in. What's the time that it started? When did it end?
The earliest entry is from this report is December 29th, 2022, 9
Wow.
a.m., 37 seconds. And the last entry is January 13th, 2023, 1:38:42 seconds PM.
So that the search for
Yeah.
bipolar started end of December and went all the way through about 10 days before this happened.
As a pen, as a search as well, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And can you just give me an idea what's the time frame on that?
All of the searches in this report indicate January 18th, 2023, in the morning hours from 11:26 a.m. to 11:27 a.m.
Okay. And the next one would be Ativan. See what's in
They
Ativan?
finally got into a rhythm. I love it.
Just give me the first month. What's the stat? Search for Ativan.
The earliest time frame, sir? December 31st, 2022, 7:06:30 seconds PM.
Okay. Next one would be amitriptyline, correct?
That's why we love him, Lori.
I'm not sure on the pronunciation, but it appears to be that way.
Okay. When was the amitriptyline search? When did it start? When did it end?
January 16th, 2023, 11:01:28 seconds AM, with the last entry being January 23rd, 2023, 8:17:58 seconds PM.
And then on January 20th, 2023, was she searching intrusive?
Intrusive, meaning intrusive thoughts. On
correct.
January.
And then finally, sir, on January 19th of 2023, was she searching hallucinations?
Okay.
Yes, sir. 10:33:49 seconds AM.
Boom. Okay, let's go back because he was kind of quiet. January 19th of 2023, she was searching hallucinations 4 days before. That to me doesn't read as premeditation. To me, that reads as, oh my God, I'm freaked out. I'm having hallucinations. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think.
Was she searching hallucinations?
Yes, sir. 10:33:49 seconds AM.
Sir, I would offer these.
I can just look them over.
Sure, yeah.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, I'm doing all kinds of stuff.
Okay, those may be admitted. Down the road.
Everything's admitted. Oh, gotta hike up those shorts there, Red. Hike them up. Okay, let me look at my notes. Okay. Okay, then we have, there's one more thing to get into here. We're going to call these the good mama texts. I think that's what Peter Tragos is calling them, but these are all texts that highlight like what a good mom she is. So that's coming next, I believe.
Yes, sir. It's a supplemental report for search items.
In there, such as pre-made goodie bags.
Okay.
Basically, there are a number of search terms in there, such as pre-made goodie bags, and that would have been on December 31st. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's the next one underneath that? That would be on December 31st.
Child with bloated belly and lethargy.
How about the next one on December 31st?
Children's Motrin stores.
What about the next one on the 31st?
Children's Motrin.
Next one.
Is Children's Town Hall the same as infants?
Next one.
6-month-old whale windows.
That would be WALE, whatever that means.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one.
Earth's best organic baby food.
Next one.
Earth's best organic infant.
Next one.
Earth's best organic infant formula.
Next one.
Nova Plymouth NOVA.
Next one.
Best kids movies.
Next one.
Nova Trampoline Lark.
Next one.
Unicorn picture.
Unicorn picture.
Next one, if you can.
Yes, sir. Unicorn picture free coloring.
Just read them right down.
Yes, sir.
Just rip right through it.
Paw Patrol saves. I'll spell it. Paw Patrol saves the MEREKR. Twin Girls Bed. Cape Cod Resort.
This poor guy.
How much formula for 8 MINTH? Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese. Children's Motrin. Children's Motrin stores. ADC Temple Touch Thermometer.
Can I just interrupt you?
Yes, sir.
We have two for date right now.
Oh, he like put
The
his
last
hand
time I
on
read was
his shoulder.
ADC Temple Touch Thermometer, sir, and the date was January 17th, 2023, time 2:19:03 seconds PM.
Okay.
This is why I love Kevin Reddington. When I was a server in restaurants and like an old guy would come in like this, I'm a pretty touchy-feely person. Like I hug it out, I do things like that. And I always like kind of put my hand on people's shoulders sometimes when they're sitting and I'm talking to them. Because it's what my family does. And I know that Kevin Reddington does that to probably like servers and, people or whatever. And I'm sure some people are like, ew, old man, don't touch me kind of thing. But to me, it's so genuine and kind and loving. And it just shows you like kind of like he's a good guy, but he does this to this trooper. He puts his hand on his shoulder, and I don't know. It just touches me.
ANTH. Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese. Children's Motrin Stores. ADC Temple Touch Thermometer.
Right there. It's so sweet. Look at this. Like, it looks like a father and a son.
Yes, what are you up to for date right now?
So sweet. Oh, Christina, thanks so much for the $10 tip. Hi, Mel. Your hard work is appreciated we've got big muscles. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Christina. The tips are greatly appreciated. Also, one of the things that I wanted to point out about the tips, I know that super chats, like with super chats, you have to pay more money to write longer chats, which I think is kind of lame. You should be able to write however much you want to write. I mean, obviously within reason, don't write a novel, but with like Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, I think you get a bigger comment box. So if you want to write like a full thing in there, you can. So that's helpful. That's why I try to read them all out. Lindsay was obviously a loving, concerned mom who wanted the best. It's wild what the brain can do. Just switch on you. Yep. And Lady Harlot said, was the unicorn in the corner, though? Okay. I just need to pull up my notes really quickly. Hold on a second here. Okay. One of the things that I wanted to do, to get through this, how much time do we have left? You guys have been on with me for a long time. We're moving into hour 2. Please don't forget to like the video. We're probably going to be here for 3 hours at least. We're at 3:49. Let me look at my time code. So please, on your way in, on your way out, whatever the case may be, please don't forget to like the video. I appreciate you all greatly. And if you feel so inclined or are able to, and you want to do a super chat or become a member, our membership levels are at $2.99 and $5.99 right now. But I think when Rebecca gets back, we're going to combine those all into one membership. So it'll be a little bit easier. And obviously, if you want to send over a tip, the Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal are at the top of the screen with the Venmo QR code. And it's also pinned in the chat. I'm just trying to find the next piece that I wanted to share with y'all. Okay. So the prosecution, I am going to read these to you because I don't want to. Hold on. Let's just get through the rest of this and then I'll move on. I'm jumping all around. I'm feeling like I am ADHD and I haven't been diagnosed as ADHD. Sometimes I feel it.
The last item I read was ADC Temple Touch Thermometer, sir, and the date was January 17th, 2023, time 2:19:03 seconds p.m.
Okay. Just want to get a frame on the time.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, finish that.
8-month milestones. Fluffy slime recipe. Fluffy slime recipe. UTI symptoms, children. Kids Miralax. Miralax for kids.
And what was the date on that?
The last date on the page for Miralax for kids, January 24th, 2023, 4:47:31 seconds p.m.
Yeah, go ahead, finish these 3 more.
Yes, sir. CVS Pharmacy, Pedialax.
Thank you, sir. Enough of this, Judge.
I think you did it.
Joe, you're always so sweet. Thank you for the $6.99 Canadian bucks. I'm so inclined to send this. Thanks for all of this, Mel. You are very welcome. And thanks for being here, Joy. And thanks for your generosity. I appreciate you. Okay, we're going to enter some stuff into evidence.
What is that? It doesn't have the thing at the header on the top. That's all.
It's a supplemental report, sir, and appears to be text messages.
Are you able to know when the photograph of the 2 kids and the snow?
To look at the extract.
Right, this is the photograph, like they said that she cropped, trying to make it seem like she was doing something nefarious when she wasn't doing anything nefarious. Oh, Shauna, you are so generous. Thank you so much for the $50 tip. So what are those piece of shit prosecutors pod a-holes doing on Twitter? I've blocked every mention of them from my socials. Okay, hold on a second. I have to open this. This is a longer comment. Oh. So what are those piece of shit prosecutor pod a-holes doing on Twitter? I've blocked every mention of them from all my socials and I do not do Twitter anymore, Shauna said. Well, Shauna, I am here to tell you, thank you so much for the $50. Super generous of you. You're very sweet. I appreciate you. They are just both sizing. They're just being like, they're taking up for the prosecutors. They're like, she's a monster. You know, she blah, 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 blah. She's doing what they're like, they could be trying this case in place of these 2 prosecutors. I'll put it that way. they're acting the same way. Those two, oh God, I don't hate a lot of people, but those two are high up on my list of people that I think are really dangerous. They put out a lot of bad information, a lot of dangerous information, and they put the word prosecutor in their title and in their podcast title, and they use that to sound like they're experts. Like, I am no expert. I come on, we joke about this all the time. I am a fake lawyer on TV. I'm a medical examiner. I am a forensics pathologist. Like, it's a joke, obviously. The only I'm not an expert at anything. Even the things that I've been doing for 3 decades, I'm not an expert at them. No one is. But when you study like science and things like that, I can understand how you'd be called an expert. With them, with the Prosecutors Podcast, it feels to me like they use that title to act like they say things so emphatically that they expect you to believe them because they are prosecutors. And it makes me crazy. That's Brett. Yeah, Brett. Oh, I can't stand Brett. Rebecca loathes them as well. Maggie obviously does too. I mean, that should tell you something. If all of us like happy, good people think that they're horrible, we're the experts. No. Cassie, girl, you are so friggin' generous. Cassie's the one who just sent me my the knives that I lost in the flood, aka my divorce. She sent me the most beautiful. I have never in my life had a fish knife, and I now have one. I know that sounds weird, but I love to. I'm a cook. I love to cook. Love to experiment. I love to cook whole fish. It's really difficult to cook whole fish if you don't have a fish knife. Now I do. My fish is going to be beautiful. I can't wait. So excited. Thank you so much for the $10 tip as well. And Kia, thank you for the $10 tip. Oh, Venus Blue Cupcake. Hello. Thank you for being you. We are very similar, and I'm so happy I found you and Bex. I look forward to, why is it not coming up with the whole message? I look forward to every video, every opinion, every laugh. You have the best heart. Thank you for sharing it with us, Heart. I appreciate you being here. And I also can see in your name that you're a cupcake, which gives me mucho respect for you. I'm so glad to have the cupcakes here. Please tell Melanie we said hi and that we love her, and she's one of the best things on the YouTubes. So thank you so much. You guys are so, so, so generous. I really appreciate you. Okay. Lettero by Bettero. Don't forget to like the video. Venus Blue Cupcake says, please like the video. Lettero by Bettero. People on TikTok seem to be from an entirely different time and place. I don't even know how to describe it. They seem like robots being given a script on what to say. It's disturbing. Yeah. That's what it seems like now. TikTok used to be kind of a cool place. Like, there was so much creativity going on. That's where I sort of got my start back during the pandemic, when I was like alone in my apartment with just me and the doggo. I went to TikTok to find a community, and I found a big community over there. And my videos went, like, I don't want to say they went viral, but I had a lot of followers over there. And we used to do these morning shows, like, basically it would be like, I think I called it Coffee Talk, and it would just be like 500 women just like chilling and talking about life, trying to get through the pandemic. And it was so lovely and wonderful. And over the past like 6-7 years, it's gotten so diluted and so weird and so gross. And I stay away from it now. I keep it on my phone so that if I need to like search for something or pull something up to show it on this show, that I can find it, but I don't engage over there at all. Gotta love those Canadian bucks. All right. Those two suck so bad. Oh, they're so bad. So bad. I know. You're talking about the Prosecutors Podcast again. God, no one likes them. It's so interesting. Well, I won't say no one. I'm sure there are people out there that like them because they have a huge audience. Okay. Little Bow Creep. That's the first I've heard of that. Justin Earthbound Misfit says, Little Bow Creep is trying to insinuate that turning off the live function of iPhone photos is nefarious. I crop live photos all the time so people can't hear me bribing the dogs to pay attention. I know that moment in time so hardcore, Justin Earthbound Misfit. I'm like, look at me, treat, TREIT. Want to go outside? You want to get some dinner? You want some breakfast? Sit pretty. Love you. Like, it's just like me trying to get Ruby to like look pretty for the camera. It's so stupid. Love Miss Melanie. We love Miss Melanie too. Okay. I don't know who these guys are so good for, Mel, I guess. I don't know who these guys are so good for, Mel. Me, I guess. I don't know who these guys are so good for me, I guess. D Cools, I don't understand your comment.
Report. You see where it says Lindsay owner, and then over here it says cutie.
Yes, sir.
So is that from Pat to Lindsay?
That's correct.
And what's the date and the time?
Okay, we're just going over the picture, which is so ridiculous that we even have to spend any time on this. And text between Lindsay and Patrick, which were lovey-dovey. He's asking why it would be edited, how it was edited. Like the fact that they even had to spend any kind of time on it is dumb. Okay. One of the things that I want to do, we're going to come back to this in a minute because there's this weird thing that happens after the jury is dismissed. And just keep in mind, the jury isn't coming back till Monday. They're going to have a long time to think about everything that happened this week. It was a traumatic week for everybody involved. But at one point, they had the trooper read into the record some of Lindsay's diary entries. And instead of having a man read them to you all, I'm going to read them to you because I think it might be, I don't know, maybe it'll be a little bit better. I'm not going to do any accents. I'm not going to do Higgy or anything like that. I'm just going to read them to you. But on October 25th, 2022, this is a journal entry. And it says, quote, this is from Lindsay. Lindsay wrote these journal entries. They had them read into the record, but they had this trooper do it because he's the one that found them or whatever. Quote, I'm sad and depressed because I'm not able to parent my third child like my first. I'm sad that I stopped breastfeeding. I feel not as connected with Cal now. I think I sort of resent my other children because they prevent me from treating Cal like my first baby, and I know that's not fair to them. End quote. And the next one is, quote, I was feeling so depressed last evening when Cora and Dawson came home from school. I know it rubs off on them, so we had a pretty rough evening. I want to feel love and connection with all my kids. I just want to feel happy. I just want to be able to relax and take care of my kids. And when they go to bed at night, I want to deeply relax and hang out with Pat and then fall into a deep sleep for 8 hours. End quote. Quote, I needed a baby that slept through the night because I simply do not have the opportunity in my life to catch up on sleep. I just don't. It feels cruel to me that we did this to Cal. It feels cruel to me that we did that to Cal, but the reality is we did what we had to do. I guess I also feel slightly traumatized by the sleep training, but that feeling was only really present when I was severely sleep deprived and paranoid, end quote. She's talking about having to train Cal to sleep at night. Which was hard for her, they went over that in testimony earlier. And here's another one. Quote, I'm terrified of something happening to my kids or doing something wrong to mess up their development. Our generation is inundated with information about every aspect of parenting and everything that could go wrong if you don't get it right. It's insane. For the last 5 years, I've just filled my mind with all things parenting, and it's just unhealthy, end quote. So those are diary entries. I mean, you can kind of hear the struggles she's having. She is trying to be in control of everything, and she just can't. And we all know that feeling and how it feels desperate. It feels like you can't come up with any alternatives or you can't trust anybody to do the job for you. And she's trying so hard, and it's so scary to me. Okay, so the other searches we went through some of the searches, but just to reiterate, the carotid artery. She searched on her phone for the carotid artery, how to blank your throat to die, and can you turn airbags off in Kia Sorento? We went over that. She queried Seroquel, feel like I can't have a conversation. She queried suicide and McLean. And then she queried what to do when a psychiatrist overprescribes. Can bipolar disorder be temporary? Can benzos reveal bipolar disorder? And can ketamine for benzo withdrawal? So this is what she's doing in the nights that she can't sleep, leading up to this terrible, horrible night. And it's very obvious that she is spiraling. I recognize it. I'm sure that most of you recognize it. And then So all of that happened in the testimony from the first two troopers. And this last trooper, look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's so typical. Oh, yeah. Okay. This guy's name. Hold on. Let me get it. All right. This guy's name is Joshua McGilligan. This is the guy I was telling you about who was the lead case officer who didn't find the meds in the drawer. He didn't look in the drawer. He didn't find the meds. He missed that. That's literally, I don't even know why he was on the stand. I'll be honest with you. Again, just more of the same shit from the prosecution. He made crime scene observations. So he described the layout. He described the exterior window. He described the Museum of Science video. And he described the grand jury interview with the medical examiner. Guys, we've heard it so many times. I can't anymore with these prosecutors. There was one other thing that happened toward the end of the day yesterday that I want to go over because it's just, well, it's sort of beyond petty. I didn't think that these prosecutors could go any lower than they already have gone. But they do. On every day, it gets worse. Like, I almost feel like they're just trolling all of us with the bigger bows and things like that. And now they're like, how can we piss off Mel's audience even more today? Let me see. Here we go. Let's try this move next.
Sir, in that meeting with the medical examiner.
Shit, we're still on redirect. I thought I had that all queued up. And I didn't. Okay, here we go.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth is asking the court to allow the Commonwealth and the defense to have copies of a log that we were advised that, or we've seen, that the trial court security has for people who go back into the lockup area to visit with or tend to or what have you with the defendant during the course of this trial. Both myself and Nadia Sprague have witnessed at several points. Obviously, we know there are medical staff that go back with the defendant, but in addition to medical staff, which are not really the primary thrust of this motion, it's that there have been other individuals that are not counsel that are permitted to go back there. And we're not alleging that that's inappropriate in any way, shape, or form. Clearly, the staff here, the security staff, has followed all appropriate protocols. But we are aware that Dr. Zeisel has been back there. We witnessed a priest being allowed back there the other day. And we are advised that these visitors are kept as a log when they come, when they exit, what days, what times. And the Commonwealth is alleging that that's information that might be necessary for us to effectively cross-examine some of the defense witnesses that are going to be presented. Certainly with Dr. Zeisel, it could pose as a potential bias that he's there, that he's back there. He's being presented as an expert witness on the concept of criminal responsibility, and there are certain ethical rules that forensic psychiatrists and psychologists follow that he might be subject to cross-examination about, and the nature of his relationship with the defendant could be an area fraught for cross-examination. Because the court records are not, these court records, I would suggest, are not in the care, custody, and control of the Commonwealth. Procedurally, we have filed the motion as a Rule 17 motion asking for access to the records just for this defendant during the course of the trial.
I mean, you're not looking for the name of the priest who went back there, are you?
Father Bob.
I mean, I understand. I'm just trying to figure out what the scope.
Did you see? Okay, so I wish we had seen the judge in that moment, like his face, like, you're not asking for the priest's name that went back there, are you? And then Reddington starts to laugh. This is him chuckling right here. And then he goes,
back there, are you?
Father Bob.
It's Father Bob. You want to know his name? It's Father Bob.
I mean, I understand. I'm just trying to figure out what the scope of this is. I understand the request for Dr. Zeisel amount of visits, because he's slated to possibly be a witness. So I understand how that might be relevant.
Right.
The priest, well, I'm struggling with.
At this point, Your Honor, we haven't been furnished with exactly who defense is going to be calling as witnesses in their case. We have an idea from a witness list that was filed that keeps evolving as the trial progresses. So we don't know, for instance, if that person for some reason has a relationship to the defendant and he wishes to call her or call him for some reason. So with the exception of, again, the nurses, we don't necessarily need their information. We know the purpose for why they're there and that they don't have a role in this case. But anyone else who has been permitted back there that is outside the medical staff, I would suggest the Commonwealth is entitled to at least know, and whether we are able to use that information if it becomes more apparent when the defense was underway with their case, that would come to that. We'd have to wait and see if that's the case. But certainly the fact that counsel has announced Dr. Zeisel as a testifying witness, that's information we believe we're entitled to.
All right. Ms. Reddington?
Well, first of all, here's the list. They want the list. We don't need a Rule 17 and a court order. They can just go over from there to there and get the list and see who's been going in and out to see Lindsay.
What is wrong with them?
I don't have a problem with that by no means whatsoever. Father Bob is a Roman Catholic priest who baptized these kids, who was very, very close to Lindsay. Not in a religious sense. They just like each other. She went to Mass sporadically. She's not a devout Catholic. She's a Catholic. She has a relationship with the father at that church. And that guy has been with her for 3 years, through the hospitals, through Brigham and Women's, going to Tewksbury. I haven't even talked to the guy since last week. First time I ever met him. Shook his hand. Nice man. After that debacle yesterday that we went through with the public.
Let's stay focused on.
I am staying focused.
Well,
this is what I'm doing.
I guess I'll tell you right now, so I can save you. I'm not ordering the name or address of anyone other than Dr. Zeisel.
Can I call him as a witness right now?
No. I'm gonna allow that so the Commonwealth can take a look at that record. Nobody else though. And then at some point, if the doctor was called, we may need if we have to address that, we can address it. So I'm going to allow the Commonwealth to have the information regarding Dr. Zeisel, and that's it though. Anyone else who went back there has been admitted pursuant to the appropriate rules of the security department in this case. Especially, I'm not ordering the name, address, or frequency of this Roman Catholic priest. I'm just not going to do it. It's based on the record that I have now. If for some reason he's called as a witness, which I haven't seen that, I haven't seen an expectation even regards that. If that comes up, then the Commonwealth can renew this, and I may reevaluate. But right now, the Commonwealth's motion regarding security logs is allowed as to Dr. Paul Zeisel only. All right. Anything else we need to address before Monday, Commonwealth?
No, you're
All right, Mr. Rankin.
Well, thank you.
All right, so we'll see.
I mean, could it be more petty? Could these fuckers be more petty? Nikki said, can someone address why the cameras in the house were off, unplugged? Not sure what you're talking about. I have notes about the cameras. Hold on, let me see if I can find them. No evidence presented indicating the cameras inside 47 Summer Street were deliberately turned off, disabled, or unplugged prior to the incident. They were seized. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but they were seized with a search warrant in the early morning hours of January 25th. They located a Google Nest camera and a baby monitor from the master bedroom and children's bedroom. The hardware was collected and cataloged alongside other digital and physical evidence for forensic extraction. I could be wrong about this, but these are the notes that I took, so I don't know. And there was testimony from Andrea Hannigan, who was Lindsay's co-worker and longtime friend, who said that Lindsay would often check her phone and check the baby monitor while she was working. But I don't think there's been any testimony that, is this a conspiracy theory? I don't know. Anybody else heard that? I don't know. Okay. Nancy Grace is a cartoon character. You guys keep mentioning Annie Elise, like something bad, and I don't know what happened. So if you can tell me what Annie Elise did or is doing, I would like to know about it. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nico. I don't know what you're talking about. They weren't disabled. They were collected as evidence and cataloged. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. It sounds like a conspiracy theory to me. Home slice. Why do I not see home slice? Anyway, sorry. Let's see. Genuine question. Does she not have a legal right to speak to a priest, religious clerk? No, she does. She can speak. And it doesn't really matter. She's allowed to speak to her doctors too. I mean, Zeisel's been treating her. But the point of the matter is, this is just the Commonwealth trying to muck up the gears, because they know full well the way that Reddington laid it out for them. They could literally walk over to the table, which is 5 feet away. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they don't want to get any steps. You know what I mean? I don't know. They walk over to the table, they pick it up, and they can look at it. They can make a copy of it. It's available to them. It's right there. Like, why a motion hearing, a Rule 17 motion hearing, when it's sitting 5 feet away from them? And if they didn't want to do that because they thought it would be improper, all they had to do was say, hey, Kevin, we'd really like to understand like who's going back to talk to Lindsay during the breaks. We know she has her nurses, but we saw Zeisel go back and a priest. You know, can you just like give us the log? And he'd be like, here it is. He handed it to them. They want to know who the priest is. It's Father fucking Bob. What the fuck? God, what is wrong with these people? Like, and he's sitting there like, what a waste of friggin' time and taxpayer money. I know that's what's going through his head. All right, I'm going to read a few more tweets and then I need to jump off here, you guys, because I'm starting to get tired. But you know what's really exciting is tomorrow night, I'm going to have Miss Sam Beningo on at 5 p.m. We're going to be talking about all this mental health stuff, and she is an expert in her field. So I'm really looking forward. I have a bunch of questions for her. I'm looking forward to the discussion. She's a good person. I'd like to have her on. I hope that you guys all will come. I'm not making it members only. It's going to be open to everybody. So please, please, please come tomorrow at 5 p.m. and watch my conversation with Sam. Yeah, this was so typical of a Massachusetts courtroom. Like what I expect anyway, is the judge cuts Reddington off to say, screw the Commonwealth. I love it. I love it. I love it. There was a baby monitor in their bedroom as well, because that's where Cal's crib was. Yeah. It's a conspiracy theory. Patrick said the Wi-Fi wasn't working. Has there been any speculation on when the defense will begin their case? I haven't heard any. I feel like they got to be getting close to it, though, right? I mean, God, how many more friggin' witnesses who are repeating themselves can we have in this case? Honestly. Yeah, what happened with Annie Elise, you guys? Okay, here we go. Venus Blue Cupcake says, Annie went over the Pat conspiracy theories, but did another video after that. Oh, God. Why? Why are we doing this? Brian Enton did an excellent interview of a mom that experienced postpartum psychosis, CC Beaches said. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Are they trying to make it seem like the defense is being uncooperative? Lady Harlot says. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I told you guys this morning I woke up and when I was talking to my Lindsay, I was like, I think the prosecution's trying to throw this case. Is that what they're doing? They're trying to throw this case? I mean, yeah, genuinely tonic. I'm real sick the Commonwealth wasting all of our time as well. And imagine if if it's a hung jury, if they try to try her again. Like we seen them do it. What a waste. It's Father fucking Bob. I mean, seriously, it's Father fucking Bob. Like what? Let the priest go back. Are you kidding me? Who cares what his name is? His name is Father Bob. Look him up. He's wicked famous. Oh, no. Is Annie trying to get clicks? No. No. I don't like that. The defense will start after every cop in Massachusetts testifies about their feelings on the case. Yep. Is Lindsay as tired of hearing about the case as my partner is? Yeah. I mean, she's got to hear about everything, you guys. Like, not only does she have to hear about it from me, but she also sometimes hears it because she's out, she comes out to the garage or she's getting in the car or, it's just constant. She's such a good sport though. She'll ask me like, what happened in the case today? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it, but I do. I end up telling her. And, she's a mom of 2 kids. And I was like, did you ever experience anything like this? Because I don't have biological children. Like I never gave birth, so I didn't experience. I bet I would have, though. The way my friggin' brain works, I bet I would have. Lindsay said that she remembered being really anxious about, with the first kid, she was really anxious because she was like, oh my God, I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to do something wrong. Like that seems to be like a general consensus. But you heard it the other day. Kevin was breaking down like the stages of postpartum, and the lowest stage of like anxiety or depression is still called the baby blues, quote unquote. The baby blues. She's got the baby blues. She'll get over it. She's got that baby blues. Ugh. What are we doing? This is a good point, Science and Sass. I don't think the Commonwealth is trying to throw the case. I just think they're tone deaf and they're used to the Commonwealth winning cases because they get to choose the cases they take to trial. But they shouldn't be taking a case to trial if they don't think it's a total winner. Like it's like in the bag, a total winner. That's the point. And this one is far from that. To me, it feels like they're still trying to come up with their case as we go. You know? Yeah, Sean Ellis was tried 4 times. Never forget. Trial 4. Bobby Jean said, Mel, you're working so hard. Please rest up and take care of yourself. I will, Bobby Jean. I accidentally overslept this morning. I'm a morning person. I'm usually up like the ass crack of dawn. And today I had my alarm set for like 6:30 and I didn't wake up until 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I woke up in a frenzy, like, oh my God, I'm late I got to get this research done. I got to get this work done. But I took a break earlier today. I had lunch with Lindsay. We like hung out. But you know, when a trial's on, it's just a lot of extra work and that's what I'm here to do. And this trial is so important as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So, this is a little bit of tidbit from Bob Mata says that he thinks the prosecution only has 1 or 2 more witnesses. The reason court wasn't in session today is that the witness wasn't available. UW Meg 97 says. Okay, well, we'll see. Oh, wait, hold on. Maggie's texting me. I'll look at that later. That's what I was wondering, is the Commonwealth trying to throw the case? I mean, I don't think they are. That's not in their best interest either. But it's just like they're putting on such a bad case, and can anyone think of a witness that they've had that was good for them? Like 100% just their witness good for them. I can't think of one. Lady Harlot said, I get the baby blues when there's a crying kid on my plane. Postpartum depression is different. Yeah. The Commonwealth is just blinded by their own hubris, Teacup says. Woof. That's poetry, girl. Seriously. They are desperate to win this case. I heard about this, Law Girls. That Stephen Pena was exonerated yesterday after 34 plus years. That's so amazing. Love it. I love to hear about an exoneration story, although 34 years. Ooh. Betty Broderick. I don't, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what I think about the Betty Broderick case, although I am familiar with it. But let me think about it and I'll tell you later. I just need to look it up and like remember what it's about. Okay. I keep doing this. Genuinely Tonic. Thanks for all your work on this case, Mel. Love you and Becky's thoughtful coverage and conversation here. Oh, thank you. That was very sweet of you. Thanks for being here. Okay. Joy says, I think there's a political component to trying this case. I never would have thought of that. I wonder what it is. Maybe it's the whole DA. No, that's in Norfolk. This is Plymouth. I don't know. I've never seen one in person and it was amazing. Oh, the exoneration. Yeah, it's so exciting. I hope I get to see one day. And I hope it's Pam Smart. I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it. We've been here for 2.5 hours. We had a couple of guests. We got through the testimony. We are on to day 14 on Monday. But before that, come back tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Me and Sam Beningo. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to keep it positive, hopefully. We're going to talk about this case. I would love to have you all here. Show your support for Sam and her channel. Go like her channel if you're not already subscribed. I'm starting to lose my voice. If you're not already subscribed, please go subscribe. And don't forget to like this video on the way out. And again, thank you guys so much for being so generous and keeping us going here. We really, really, really appreciate you. I can't thank you enough. I love this audience. I love hanging out with y'all and talking through these cases. Thanks for being respectful and for being able to engage in like good faith debate. I appreciate that. All right. I am going to see you tomorrow night with Sam B from I Don't Belong Here. So go subscribe to her channel after you get out of here and like this video. All right. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
You hear it first in the break in the story. One little crack and the whole thing gets wary. A witness swears but the timeline bends. A smile too smooth and the trail just ends. Mel Barrett says, hold up, look again. Rebecca Lavoie follows every thread. If it feels too neat, then it's not the truth. There's a shadow line running through the room. Something's off, something's off. You can feel it in the bones. Something's off, something's off. When the facts won't come home. Something's off, something's off. And the case won't stay in place. Something's off. We're the ones who chase